a new trial, or he could dismiss the charges altogether. Arizona went Republican in the presidential race, choosing Donald Trump and his strong stand on securing the border. But when it comes to the U.S. Senate race, voters went in the other direction.
The Grand Canyon state has chosen Democrat Ruben Gallego as its first Hispanic senator. Gallego defeated GOP challenger Kari Lake. Gallego's victory continues a string of Democratic successes in the state reliably Republican until Donald Trump won the White House in 2016. Arizona voters have rejected Trump-endorsed candidates in every election since.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart. From east to west, it's the wildfire roundup.
In California, thousands of Ventura County residents remain under evacuation orders. CAL FIRE says the mountain fire has destroyed over 192 structures and is about 42% contained.
Crews are in and around the structures, patrolling, mopping up 300 feet in.
Clint Swenson is an operations section chief.
They're putting water bars in, and they're bringing those dozer lines back to their natural state.
Crews there are welcoming higher humidity, but gusty Santa Ana winds continue to be a challenge. A quarter inch of rain helped a little with numerous fires burning in northern New Jersey and southern New York, but the lack of rainfall since September means the duff beneath the leaf litter is bone dry. I'm Jennifer King.
35 people killed, dozens seriously injured in southern China. Police say a 62-year-old man upset about a divorce settlement rammed his car into a crowd of people. Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell. Dow futures 58 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 9 points. S&P futures down 2. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity, and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Israel's opening a new aid crossing into Gaza, just as a U.S. deadline demanding improved humanitarian conditions set to expire.
Israel has been under increasing pressure to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza. The U.S. said around 350 trucks of aid a day were needed. The letter said that if that target wasn't met, weapon supplies could be held back. Over the last month, the average has been around 40 trucks a day. The United Nations has said the situation in the north of the Strip is apocalyptic, with a real risk of famine. Israel has always denied that, and will hope that opening another crossing will ease some pressure.
And that's the BBC's Joe Inwood. Officials say worsening air pollution in the past month has sickened an estimated 1.8 million people in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province. The increasing smog forcing authorities to shut down schools across the province for 5 days to protect children's health. News and analysis at townhall.com. Some companies face the prospect of heavy penalties if they don't curb their methane emissions.
The Biden administration is requiring oil and natural gas companies to pay a federal fee if they emit dangerous methane above certain levels. Excess methane produced in 2024 would result in a fee of $900 per ton. The fee would rise to $1,200 in 2025 and $1,500 per ton by 2026. But the fee may be short-lived. The Environmental Protection Agency during the Trump administration is expected to move to reverse or loosen dozens of environmental regulations approved under President Joe Biden. Donna Warder, Washington.
Money has been pouring into crypto since Donald Trump's election victory. It's sending Bitcoin to yet another record high. The world's largest cryptocurrency topped $87,000 for the first time this week. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, Whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes, welcome to it. Second day of the rest of your life.
Another warm day.
Yeah, that was surprisingly warm this morning, actually.
Yeah, well, the high day is like 77.
Ooh!
Yeah.
You mean like fall?
Yeah.
Like we actually get to enjoy fall?
Yeah.
We went from like late summer
Yeah.
to stupid early winter in like a day.
It kind of feels like full summer. Like we had like the fall, and now we're gonna.
But honestly, 77 sounds like a perfect fall day. That's like right there, mid temperatures. You know, enough for like a nice long sleeve t-shirt, maybe a light coat.
Yeah.
A nice day to not frolic in a field, but walk casually down a path as leaves fall around you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Although I kind of regret the long sleeve shirt today.
Yeah?
Like, okay, it's right now it's fine, but I think by this afternoon I'm gonna be regretting it.
Well, that's why I got to do the layers thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I've noticed because I think they flipped the building to heat.
Yeah.
And I haven't turned the air on, and I'm starting to notice, like, all right, it's getting
Does the
not cold in here.
Does the Ozempic mess with your like temperature regulation? Have you noticed? Like, do you find yourself getting like hot all of a sudden or cold all of a sudden?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's
because I mean, the way you're talking right now is that you're in deep regret over a 77-degree day.
No, not at all.
That sounds wonderful.
I'm fine with that.
Like, that sounds delightful in a long sleeve tee. I don't think you're going to regret that at all.
I hope not.
I feel like, you know, especially if the sun stays out, because 77 with the sun out can feel really hot on like the back of your neck or your arms.
Yeah.
So you'll be comfortable.
I'll be fine outside, except for I'm going to be in here all day, and I'm afraid it's going to get muggy in here today.
Yeah, it could get a bit.
So I'm like,
but the beauty of the long sleeve tee is you roll up the sleeves and it's a short sleeve t-shirt.
That's right. Yeah, true. I'll just go shirtless the rest of the day.
There you go. Problem solved.
I'll just go shirtless.
This is something I figured out when I had a roommate. He used to like live like when he wasn't outside, you know, or like going to work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He'd get home, pop that shirt off, and that's just how he walked around the house.
Yeah, I know some people like that.
I'm like, you're far too comfortable without a shirt on. He's like, you can take yours off too. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, that's even weirder.
One shirtless dude in a house, that's fine. Two shirtless dudes in a house, it looks like a waiting room for something.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're like, okay, you're shirtless, I'll go shirtless.
Exactly. And two shirtless dudes on a couch don't even get me started on what that feels like. Just sitting here, two shirtless fellas playing video games together.
And then it's like, well, you want to watch some wrestling? Yeah, that doesn't help the cause either.
I mean, one thing leads to another. Next thing you know, you're breaking out the vegetable oil.
I'll just wear a t-shirt this afternoon.
It's probably for the best. It's like that time at that party I mixed up baby oil and lube, and I called it baby lube. It was one of the more awkward moments of my life, actually. No, not like that.
Yeah. I think the Johnson & Johnson marketing people that see they're throwing that name. No, we shouldn't call it that.
Just once in my life, I want to put lube on a slip and slide just to see if I can increase the speed.
Maybe. Depends. Are you going to go water-based?
Oh, you have to. Otherwise, you're going to get some serious burns.
Or at least some clogging of
some chafing, some sticking.
You're going to turn on the slip and slide, right? It's got to have water, so it might be clumpy.
Yeah. Because, it filters through its own water, so.
That's right. Do you know of ever a slip and slide that worked more than the one time?
No. I've personally never gotten to use one.
Really?
No, I've never used a slip.
Used them, had them, but I've never seen one that lasts more than one setting without it just being destroyed.
I did use one time at church. Yeah. It was a summer thing we were doing at church, and they had one of those ones with the pool at the end. Not like a pool, but like the little It's like a serving dish of water. It's like, what's this even for? It's for us to splash our faces in as we continue to slide on the grass.
Well, you had a more fancy one than we did. We literally had just that yellow pad. And yes, you went about 20 feet past it if you set it up right. But it was always shredded or get torn or
because nobody checks checks the ground beneath them before they put it down.
I mean, I think as kids, when we couldn't afford the slip and slide, we literally just had the hefty bags, and we're running around in hefty bags sliding. And to be honest, if you wrap yourself in a hefty bag, the world's your slip and slide.
That's true. Put that on a T-shirt. If you dress in a hefty bag, the world is your slip and slide. Mike Winters.
That's it. Learned that as a kid.
You want to go out being remembered for something. I think that phrase could be your Waterloo, my friend.
With a hefty bag of some water, the world is your slip and slide.
You gonna take the train or the bus? Nope. Woo! I got this.
Lawn and leaf bag will get her done. Yeah, I wouldn't go with the kitchen bag.
Well, see, now I'm picturing, in order to maintain speed and velocity, one would have to have the bottle of lube on hand and be spraying yourself down as you go to give yourself continual.
In all fairness, we usually did it around the sprinkler, and it was always that big arc sprinkler. You know what I'm talking about? The big arc one. And we're usually, and then there was about 6 of us, and we're donned in trash bags. We usually had metal trash can lids. That was the trash cans we had as shields.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we were doing this whole night. I don't call it whatever you want. I don't know, night Star Wars.
Mike was 19.
Yeah, it was last week. I was 47. But, and literally we'd be out in the front yard with the sprinkler. And then when the whole ground's wet, you literally, Dad get mad about the lawn getting tore up. But, it is what it is.
Exactly.
Do you want us
underneath your, in your area, bugging you, or we could be outside destroying your lawn? It's your choice. And remember, we don't have the internet. So we're just going to keep annoying you.
And this is Maryland. Grass just grows there. You know what I mean? It's not like here we have to work to get grass. It's just, you're like, I don't want grass. It's just, here's grass.
It just happens.
So
grass over there is like tumbleweeds over here. They just pop up.
We just get it. Everything's just green anyway.
I actually saw that. That was one of the first times in my entire life I saw the formation of a tumbleweed.
Ooh.
Like I saw the plant snap off and become the tumbleweed.
You went from it.
I've never seen it like. It was like farm to table tumbleweed. It was crazy.
I saw the weed pupate to tumbleweed.
It was kind of like that. It was like it came out of its little chrysalis, and now I'm a tumbleweed. And away I go, discovering the world around me.
It's tumbleweed pupate season.
Just a guy on a fence post.
Now that's a T-shirt. I'm excited for
tumbleweed pupate season.
You gotta do like the national. Here we have a weed in the wild. It's about to become a tumbleweed.
Watch as the tumbleweed emerges.
The wind blows. You see it rocking back and forth. Mother Nature doing its thing.
I like the idea of a narrator saying "doing its thing." That makes me happy.
We get sniff on him.
Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
Watch as the sea urchin does its thing. Werner Herzog or something.
It gets freaky as it moves to.
Oh, that's great.
Watch as this urchin macks on this other female urchins at the urchin bar.
I have no idea why this reminded me of that. Well, it was Werner Herzog, but I watched a video about an area in the Appalachian Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 square miles, essentially,
mm-hmm.
and it is called the Quiet Zone.
Okay.
Because there is no cell phone service, no internet, no electromagnetic products. You can't even own a microwave in this area. And it's because there's it's I think it's the world's either largest or second largest radio telescope is right there in the area. And any kind of like disturbance, like they went to like look at this place, and the only thing you can take in with you is they give you a disposable camera.
Oh, nice.
You can't take your video cameras, cell phones, anything. It's like, here's a disposable camera. Here's a 35 millimeter.
I believe that the area is called West Virginia.
Yeah, actually, you're not wrong. It was in West Virginia.
Well, it's Appalachian Mountains.
Well,
the whole state's in the Appalachian
I guess
Mountains.
Werner Herzog did like a whole thing about this area, but in this video, they meet this woman who's like, she's learning or training herself to become a what do they call, mountain singer or an Appalachian singer?
Okay.
Because it's a certain type of music. It kind of reminded me of like if you ever watched like Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Lainey Wilson sing? She has very much that same kind of style. It's a lot of like lilts and but it, like melodic. Because I'm not going to try to do it right now, but very very twangy.
Sorry, just the way you're talking, I just grew up in Maryland, and we think different about people from West Virginia. So everything we're thinking, you're saying right now, I'm like, yeah, that's never mind. Because what I'm about to say is not polite.
Yeah, it's a ways in there. Like it's definitely deep in the heart of West Virginia.
Is like growing up in Maryland, D.C. area. West Virginia is literally like. Okay, well, I don't even know if y'all get this reference. It's like Canadians feel about people from Newfoundland.
Oh, Newfies. Yeah. Well, that's because, honestly, the only exposure I've ever had to Newfies is from Canadian television.
Right.
So I'm seeing their portrayal of them.
But we think of it in that way as West Virginia.
That's,
We're, land of where your sister's also your cousin. But anyway.
Basically, and this is how we used to say it, is how Texans look at Oklahomans.
Right, we all have those things. For people in Maryland, it's West Virginia.
It's like I used to say, like, you from Texas? I'm like, no, I'm from Oklahoma. They're like, oh.
Start talking louder and slower.
Right. I'll slow down for you.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Just like that.
Long drawn out. Oh, yeah. That speaks volumes.
All right, let me give you the rundown for today's show before someone gets mad. We're going to replay our interview we had with Rosie Ortiz from the Roswell Public Library. She joined us on Friday, give us an update on some of the things they've got coming on this month and into Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sean Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell, president of ENMUR, going to join us, give us an update what's happening out at ENMUR. And then we're going to replay our interview we had with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. He joined us in the 7 o'clock hour yesterday to chat sage legal advice, as he always does.
It always goes there. I'm going to get sage for the studio.
That's right.
I'm going to sage the studio
well,
over.
We might have a few evil spirits lingering around. Might get rid of that, too.
In fact, I'm almost I'm about 95% sure that Jocelyn has some sage lying around.
By the way, speaking of parrot, like, does ground sage work in those situations?
Say again, Jocelyn. There you go.
There you go. Yep. Like, is it ground sage? Or
no,
like...
it's honestly, it kind of looks like a giant cartoonish blunt. Like it's a big bundle.
Okay.
You just burned it one end.
Ghost Adventure, so I've seen enough of the saging of houses. But like, will ground sage work, or like, can you?
I'd imagine.
Some,
but you got to light it on fire. So
it's got to be on fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the smoke that you're.
Oh, it's not the actual. Okay, I thought maybe you just sprinkled.
You're like just walking around. I've been sprinkling this seasoning all over my house. Now my carpet's a mess, but
it smells like sage in here.
Why is your carpet crunchy? Well, funny story. I had these spirits, right?
It's like I got some McCormick sage in the pantry. I just didn't know we could throw some of that down.
We were all out of sage. I Mrs. Dashed the place though.
Right. How about I do have some just general Italian seasoning mix. I think it's got a little sage in it.
It's got some sage in it. Yeah. We also parsleyed and rosemary the house.
All right, it is 7:19. Here is your weather. Gonna be hot and wet.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in good shape for the next few days. Comfortable daytime highs today in the mid to upper 70s, and we should get sunshine. We have high pressure parked over the Four Corners area. Clear for the overnight hours, upper 30s to low 40s, and then plenty of sunshine coming up on Wednesday. It will be a little bit cooler. Highs will stay in the upper 60s. Thursday and Friday both look good. Highs in the 70s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 44 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 83% with winds out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Partly cloudy, then gradually just becoming full-on sunny. Yeah, there's a little bit of clouds out there. Expect a high of 77 today with west winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Winds will shift to the south later in the day. Skies will be clear tonight. Looking at an overnight low of 40 degrees with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny, 66 for a high for your Wednesday. It's a little cooler tomorrow. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 36 degrees and south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, 68 for a high with south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, mostly clear, overnight low of 38 degrees. And then back into the low 70s for Friday, sunny and 74. Sunny and 77 on Saturday. And then Sunday, we are looking at a 30% chance of rain for Sunday, partly cloudy and 68, a 50% chance Sunday night with an overnight low of 46, and a 20% on Monday when you head back to work with a high of 62. So rain chances this weekend. We'll see. All right, 7:21, we're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report recap with Smiley Wooten. Quick commercial break. Then we're going to play our interview with Rosie Ortiz from the Roswell Public Library. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 1,266 head of cattle sold on Veteran Days Monday on an uneven market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves 4 to 6 lower, feeder cattle steady to 3 higher, packer cows and bulls 3 to 5 higher, 3 to 400 pound steers 342, 355, 3 to 400 pound heifers 285, 305, 4 to 500 pound steers 295, 342. 4 to 500 pound heifers 257, 50, 285, 5 to 600 pound steers 274, 50, 297, 5 to 600 pound heifers 230, 257, 50, 6 700 pound steers 243, 274, 50, 6 to 700 pound heifers 212, 230, 7 to 800 pound steers 220, 243, 7 to 800 pound heifers 210, 212, packer cows 115, 125, canner and cutter cows 105, 110, packer bulls 140, 150, feeder bulls 130, 135. The very top half the cow-calf pairs $2,000 to $2,500 per pair. Top half the bred cows $1,500 to $1,725 per head. If you know a veteran, shake their hand and tell them thank you for your service. We do appreciate the business. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you could call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. That Do Right. Do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Mulan has the highest kill count of any Disney character. When asked for comment, Buzz Lightyear responded, "To infinity and beyond." Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us. And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Rosie Ortiz back with us.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. Well, first off, good news. Everything's good and going at the library. I know it's been the last couple months between air conditionings and flooding. Yeah. I mean, just everything is just like the Noah's Ark of everything going on. good news is everything is up and running and
in good
at the
condition.
library.
We weren't affected at all.
Yeah.
Except for a few leaks here and there, but
Sure.
the books are still there, the programs are still there,
Yeah.
and
So
we're all good.
If
yeah.
you are, and of course, hopefully folks got to come out last weekend for the Dia de los Muertos celebration.
They did.
Sounds like you guys had another great turnout.
We did we had a really good turnout, over 200 people, so that's,
And I hope a lot of people, because you learned the real traditions of all that.
Yeah.
And you learned why they do what they do, why there's the sugar skulls, why La Llorona, which I probably butchered the name of that, but you know what I mean? That why all that is means something. And so I hope families got to go out and have fun, but learn a little bit about Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, you get to see, we strive to show like the meaning of the altars and the ofrendas and all of that. And then we have some fun with it. You got to decorate some sugar skulls and some cookies in the shape of skulls. So
but it also
a lot
gives
of fun.
the religious side too for families that want to honor their loved ones and
we
they get to do that opportunity as well too. So that's the cool part. So if you missed out, good news is I got to think we're going to be on board for another one next year here around that same time.
An annual thing.
But
so,
I highly recommend you come out and be a part of that, and along with the other things we're about to tell you about here and all that too. But I'm telling you, there's something going on every week at the library. Daily activities to weekly activities to special events, almost monthly basis. There's one or two.
Yeah,
at
we
least.
try to have a big event at least once a month.
Yeah. So I always invite you to either in the modern fashion or the old school fashion, pick up a library calendar. You can either grab one at the front desk and put it on your fridge, kind of like the family thing, or the digital version online.
I would say we're on social media, so you find just do a screenshot from Facebook.
But I know some people do like to get that calendar, put it on the fridge.
It's nice,
plot and plan, and usually it's a 2-month one. So usually
now we're doing 2 months.
I think it's probably November on one side, maybe December on the other side.
We've got the traditional calendar, and then we've got like the listed events. That are going to go on. They're going to a little bit more detail.
Yeah. And so I invite you, especially with, if you're looking for more curriculum, more fun / educational opportunities to get your children, especially, with COVID, with, people at homeschool. I mean, there's a lot. And so let's face it, there's been gaps in education stuff over the last couple of years. And,
definitely.
And the Roswell Public Library can be that resource to either fill in that gap or to enhance. Maybe you're like, hey, my kids are doing great in school, but I want more. I want them to get.
We're definitely an aid, both to homeschool and to regular public school kids that need help with the homework and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
because we do have the makerspace now open. We just had a kid. He was doing a presentation on the skeletal system for one of the elementary schools, and he did, with.
Did he build a skeletal?
He did
system?
his size, skeleton, and they're gonna go. I think probably put the labels on all the bones and
that's
stuff
what,
like that.
Been about 2 months now, I think or has it been that long? Even I don't even sure.
It's been maybe about 2 months.
My time frame is very warped with flooding and everything. I'm like, is it a year or a month? I don't even know.
Feels like we just opened it, but it's I think late summer. Yeah, we opened.
Oh yeah, okay. I knew it's been it's summer. That sounds right. That was like around summertime.
Which is only. I know it doesn't feel like it with the weather, but it was only
a couple
2
months ago.
Yeah.
But that's so it's really cool for and I say for everyone a chance to make things, do things, and they have the resources and the equipment to train and to
so I'm going to really promote the makerspace right now because Christmas is coming up, and you got we've got a sewing machine there. You want to sew something for mom or dad or for yourself. We've got the Glow Forge. We've got the Cricut 3D printers. You want to make little figurines when we
People
got it
could
there.
do anything from making Christmas gifts to start your plan for your own business. There's really the possibilities through this space are limitless.
Yes.
It is what you make of it type of thing.
Basically, we've got the tools there. Just come in and take
the great
advantage
thing
of
is,
them.
we can have obviously age appropriate to handle equipment things, but kids to work on.
If they are under 18, they will need to have adults
Permission,
with them.
supervision.
Whether it's a parent, a grandparent, an older sibling, they will need to have someone there.
Again, family time.
Exactly.
Maybe you're like, I want to teach my grandkids or my kids to sew, but maybe you don't have the equipment at the house.
Parents, when are you going to see it? We didn't grow up with 3D printers. Like, you get to see that in action.
You can make almost anything you want to, and things that were either too expensive or just not possible to get.
Yeah.
You can literally make with a 3D printer.
Exactly.
And it costs pennies on the dollar to do it. And it works and just as advertised. You know,
beautifully.
It's really,
we have
technology's
figurines there. It's awesome.
This is like that modern a real version of like Star Trek or something where they just where it's kind of like computer Earl Grey hot and they make a cup of coffee appears.
Yeah.
This is kind of like
it is
the start of that, you know. It kind of is, you know, in a weird way.
Yeah, make me a little chess piece.
Yeah, that's what a 3D printer is kind of like.
Piece, exactly. Yeah,
and like, you know, if we ever get there and they look in if the History Channel shows some documentary on it, they're going to be pointing at 3D printers as the part of the evolution of that. I'm sure. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but it really is cool. So if you're not familiar with it, and by the way, that is technology that was very much unattainable and quite expensive in private sectors.
You're not going to have that at home.
But not most people unless that's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, this gets you a chance to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the library where you ain't spending thousands of dollars on a 3D printer or whatever.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know, if you want the training on it and stuff, there are folks that can help you navigate that.
So you do need the training first before we
they
let
don't
you
turn you loose on their high dollar equipment. It's kind of like the military. They just don't recruit kids and say, get in that expensive tank and have fun with it. They train them on how to do it first.
Yeah, but it's quick, it's short, easy peasy.
Yeah, it doesn't require a college degree to figure out how to work this thing. But literally, if you are a creative type or you have ideas or you just have things, you're like, I got to get it out.
Yeah.
The library can help you out with that, and you know, and especially, I could even see this as a cool thing. Like if you got like a 14, 15-year-old child, and maybe they've got an idea, maybe you as a parent can kind of work with them together through this equipment to kind of put their idea to fruition.
Yeah, we had a little girl. She was probably like 11. She was sewing her first apron there because she was interested in sewing. So I mean, it's a great way to start up new hobbies, new interests.
Find interests. Find kids. You know, with kids to find what their place in the world, I always think, it's kind of the dartboard effect, just or throw as much as the wall.
You never know what's
going
to hit.
And see what stick. It just kind of, what they're passionate, and that's where the library can help. Whether it's this maker space or the whole building full of books on various subjects and things, to the computers and everything else.
Next, on the second Saturday, which is tomorrow, we do have our cooking class.
Excellent.
So tomorrow we'll be doing tomato sauce. So come on down. So you never know, you might enjoy cooking. That's another hobby, another
get your inner Italian grandma tomato sauce.
Good, just in time for the cold weather.
That's right, exactly. So you don't have to buy the ragu. You can make it homemade.
Exactly.
It's way better homemade.
It is.
No offense to the ragu people, but it's way better.
No,
homemade.
it is. And not as hard or intense, time intense as you think.
People don't realize that sometimes making from scratch is not that hard if you just want. And like you said, tomato sauce. At the end of the day, it's really boiling down tomatoes and just adding the right seasoning and doing the right combination of things.
Exactly.
And of course, that's where you get 100 different things because all the grandmas out there. Oh, the secret's this spice, or the secret's this spice.
One grandma's is a little sweeter and the other one's is a little spicier. Yeah,
exactly. But as soon as you learn the base, then you can tweak it to your own family recipes and things like that. But what you get, and especially in a world where everything's going, computers or something else does it for you. It is never a bad idea to have your children learn the basics, how the sausage is made. A child that is independent, that can fix their own things sometimes, or can create their own things. They're going to find out when they become adults. They're going to be probably pretty creative, imaginative people, but at the same time, self-reliant human beings can go a long way.
It's gonna exercise a different part of the brain because all of a sudden connections are being made into something else.
And really, at the end of the day, as parents, your main goal is to get these children to be prepared to live the world on their own and to succeed and strive. And the more skill sets you put in them that they truly, don't force them on things they're not into, but you got to expose them to it to see if that's truly something they like.
Absolutely, yeah.
And folks, it may not be the things you like either. That's something too. I know parents, and I get it. Well, I'm of this, and my boy or my girl's going to do this, and that'd be great sometimes, but don't force it if it's not their thing. Instead, embrace what they are doing. And I guarantee you're going to find better results, and you're going to find a better like your
you don't know where their talents lie.
Your child will embrace it, and you're working in concert with them instead of bumping heads with.
Exactly.
And that's really what. And so I think the library can help out with a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean,
finding the niche, finding
we
their
have all these
passion.
programs, but we have tons of books. I mean, we don't have books on woodwork. I mean, we don't have shops or programs on woodworking, but we have books on it.
Sure.
For kids and adults. and
Yeah,
stuff
so
like
whatever
that.
your level is, that we can train you appropriately or help you get the
Exactly.
resources to do that. And we're just scratching the surface of resources.
absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
I always try to do a plug. If you go to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov, there is a library tab. There is a direct link, but it's a lot of dashes and dots.
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers
So
and stuff.
I just go to the city website, click on the Roswell Public Library tab, and now with your library card in good standing, which is free to go if you don't have one, you have a whole world of other options available to you. Anything from saying, hey, we're going to go on a road trip this weekend. Maybe I can download some music or some audiobooks for the travel. We got you covered. Or, you know what? I got a high school or a college-age kid that could use some tutoring. There's some links through the website that can help them do that.
We have homework help on the site.
You
and
need-
databases.
Yeah.
Go to databases once you're in the library section of databases, and you can pull articles that'll help with research
Absolutely.
papers. Really good.
I think there's even like movies and like there's links to find that
We
kind
have-
of stuff too.
yeah.
Free movies
You
and
have
free
stuff like that. We also have-
magazines, periodicals.
Yeah, we have all
all
of
that free of charge. And technically, you don't have to set foot in the library to access those things.
No,
You can all do it from your home. I don't recommend that. Go to the library once in a while.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, we're going on a road trip, I need to download an audiobook or something,
Yeah.
you don't have to go to the library to do that. You can literally get on your phone or get on there, boop, 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 and,
It's
and,
the
and
Libby
go about
app,
your day.
folks. I live and breathe by it.
Absolutely. It really does make a difference.
Yeah.
Something else I know we're kind of getting out of, although we're getting into the holiday season, so people will be traveling here.
Yeah.
The Roswell Public Library, thanks to the New Mexico Department of Tourism, keeps these passes. And they've got plenty to go around, but they are first come, first serve.
Absolutely.
And there's about 15, 20 different locations around the state that will get up to 6 people into for free.
Up to 5 or 6.
5
I
or
can't
6.
remember the exact number,
I think I remember
it's
6,
a
but-
family. It's a
Yeah,
good family size. Yeah.
And there's locations all over the state. I know Lincoln is one of them here locally.
Yeah.
I know a couple of the museums, the art museums, and I feel like the Nuclear Museum. I feel like that's on there too. But I could be
Probably.
wrong.
I
Yeah.
know the one I remember is the Space Museum in Alamogordo,
Yeah, that's
which is
on
like
there.
2.5 hours. I think there's a few like up in Santa
And
Fe and
Cruces,
Albuquerque.
there's one or two, like the Museum of
Yeah.
the Horse or something. It's
Something like that, yeah.
But anyway, it's all
over New Mexico.
And I can tell you this, like I know for like Lincoln, if you go into Lincoln, you take 5 people in there, it's going to cost you about $100 to get 5 people in through
Because it's
there.
probably like what, $20 a pop.
Yeah, something like 15, 20 a
Yeah.
person. And so now that's free. And I don't know about you, but that's an extra $100 to buy lunch or souvenirs or
absolutely.
pay bills.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or a little extra on the tank to take you to
And
another city.
so if you are planning, like maybe with the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you're going to see family up in a different part of the state.
Yeah.
And you're looking for, because you know how it is, relatives all together. At some point, you're all staring at each other going, what do we want to do? And maybe you can utilize this and get some folks and see the state for free.
Those history museums are really interesting. Like people
Lot of
don't
cool
think
stuff.
about, you know, they think,
but it's very
really
broad
interesting.
because it's natural history. There's several different, there's art, like, paintings and art, and then history, like human history stuff too. It really is a little something for everybody.
Because I mean, Lincoln, you've got it's the Billy the Kid
Sure,
history
it's all
museum,
Western
so
cowboys.
yeah, it's all that
and,
fun stuff. So yeah,
Link County War. So there's various subjects from various things. But if you love art and that, you get them stuff for free.
Yeah.
See, paintings from various
yeah. I
famous
mean, and
artists.
then we've got the great art museum here. That's
Unfortunately,
it got some damage.
It's going to be a while before it's back in commission here. But
then you've got Santa Fe that has a lot of great art museums too. So
and then
take
some
advantage.
of those are on that. And when you get to the library, you can see the pass and it'll tell you all the different locations.
Yeah, just
and
come up to the circulation desk and say you want the state pass, I believe.
Yeah, and the here's the rub. It's only good for 1 week, so 7 days you get it, and you cannot renew it. And it's first come. So basically, if you've got a trip planned, if you're going to leave out on a Saturday morning, you might want to go in Friday afternoon, see if it's available. More than likely to be available. It's first come, first serve, but they have quite a few.
Plenty.
And rarely do all of them be gone at one time.
Yeah,
that would be. Actually, people be like, "What's going on? Why are all the things checked out?"
I mean, even in the summer when that's the most movement,
when people are more driving.
Yeah, we still had plenty.
But I always like to remind people. So if you got maybe a holiday trip planned, or maybe you got one next summer. I'm just saying, if you got one of those trips planned, don't forget, swing on by the library.
Yeah.
You might be able to get some extra free fun out of your trip.
A good day trip.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And especially if you're going to go there anyway. You're going to go, it's like, we're going to go to Lincoln anyway. Why would you pay full price if you don't have to?
Exactly.
If you do,
yeah, exactly.
And if you do, I'm going to sell you some other things. Give me a call. I got some other things to sell you. I got $1 million TV that you'll love.
Has all the channels.
That's right. But anyway, I know I'm kind of talking about that. Let's give you a chance to kind of talk about some of the things that are coming up on the calendar here the next couple weeks.
So again, tomorrow we've got it's a try the cart. You can make some tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Every first and third Saturday of the month, we've got STEAM.
Yes.
So a lot of fun experiments.
Which is STEM with arts added.
Exactly.
That's where the A part.
That's what it is.
Science, technology, engineering, math, and arts.
I believe for November we don't have a big event just because we've got Thanksgiving and things like that.
A lot of family time.
But then we've got December, which we've got the fun Yuletide Festival coming up.
Excellent.
And that'll be the 21st of December.
Put you in the holiday spirit?
Yes. We've got the Grinch. So the Grinch will be making its appearance.
Good.
We'll have, food, fun, a free book giveaway that comes with that.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, like a week later or about 2 weeks, we've got the New Year's Festival for the kiddos. They might not be able to stay up late to celebrate.
I would say it's for the kiddos, but also for those adults that don't want to be up by midnight either. You're like, I want to celebrate New Year's at like noon.
Yeah, exactly. So if you still have the countdown, you don't want to stay up too much, you can just go on in there. We'll party it up. We have, kid-friendly music.
Absolutely, yeah.
Activities.
No champagne, but all the other fun
but we'll have,
holiday traditions. Yeah.
Maybe like some Sprite to make it look
some
busy.
grape juice or Sprite or sparkling grape juice or
something like that.
Something to make it feel, party, festive.
Exactly.
But come and like I said, it's kids, but bring, adults, everybody. Come bring in the new year with the family out there.
And then for the Yuletide Festival, for the teens and families, if they want to compete as a family, we're going to have cupcake wars.
Okay.
So, it'll be, we'll provide
like a bake-off kind of thing?
Kind of. Well, we'll provide the cupcakes.
Okay. Or decorate off, maybe.
Yeah, decorate off.
There is more.
So they'll have 3 cupcakes to decorate. One will be holiday themed.
Okay.
One will be themed for a book. So choose your book.
Okay.
And then the other one is Grinch.
Okay.
Grinch themed. And so maybe, if it's a family, a couple of you can concentrate on one, and we'll provide, the piping bags, the tips, and then the buttercream and all that fun stuff. And it's up to you guys to get your creative side.
Yeah. So really, first things first, you need to scout out your favorite book, whatever you want. Because I imagine you go grab a couple books, read them, and the one that's your favorite, maybe themed. You're at that cupcake towards that book.
Yeah. So,
or maybe if, like you said, if you already have your favorite, whatever those classics. Especially for kids. If you any Dr. Seuss or even your like A Wrinkle of Time or some of those some of those classic.
I always think of like Hunger Games. Make a bow and arrow.
I got a little longer hair, so or a little grayer hair, so my references are a little older. But even like or just like even classic, your science fiction, kind of those. Well, Wrinkle in Time is definitely, it's a fantasy, that kind of same thing. But maybe you're a Hobbit fan, or maybe the Lord of the Rings, or Star Wars. There's Star Wars books and stuff. They got those books there. Now, don't do the movie, do the books. That's the rule.
But
absolutely, yeah. Or maybe maybe you go old school classic, Treasure Island or Peter Pan.
Little Women.
Little Women, some classic that, but that's the beauty of this. It's wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, so we've got themes and whatever you guys want to
Harry Potter.
Exactly, Big old lightning bolt there.
I don't know how many generations of kids are probably avid readers now thanks to Harry Potter.
Exactly,
absolutely.
yeah.
And adults, too. That was one of those books.
You grew up with it,
That to me, and I don't think people, like for folks that lived before Harry Potter, you don't realize that impact that really had in the reading. I mean, the movies and the whole platform. Yes, it blew up, but there was generations of kids that were specifically wanting to read now because a Harry Potter book came out, and that's a good thing.
It was,
And to be honest, it inspired adults because I know more grown people that were reading Harry Potter than kids almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a good thing too because adults, life gets busy and even if you love reading, sometimes life takes you away from that. If we need things to remind us to, sit down and read a book or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I still love them.
So I love that. So whatever your favorite thing is that got you there, put it
Yes.
on your cupcake.
Exactly. So we
And then-
will have signups for that soon,
Good
but
deal.
just putting it out there. It's a funny
Get your
thing.
calendar. That way you can kind of make plans to
Mhm.
attend and plot and plan accordingly, because
Yes.
I'm sure everyone's holiday schedules will get a little busy right around that time with traveling or whatever they've got going on with their own
It is
families.
the 21st, so it is, just before the holiday craziness really takes, with the, going out,
But here's the
traveling,
beauty
things
part
like
too
that.
is
so-
maybe you've got family in town and you're looking to let off some get the
Yes.
family entertained and occupied for a little bit. Bring all the kids down
And
and
it's
come have some
free,
fun,
so-
and that's it. Everything at the library is pretty much free.
Yeah.
Very few times is there a charging event. But,
Yeah,
but
An event, I don't think we'll ever charge. I
Yeah.
think the only thing that you might have to is if you go to the makerspace, whatever you're using.
materials or some
Yeah.
of that cost of doing business there a little
Yeah.
bit. But yeah, anytime there's these kind of events,
Mm.
of course, we and another organization I'd like to put on your radar is the Friends of the Roswell Public Library.
Yes.
They do help out on events like this with goodies and summer reading
Donations.
programs. So if you're looking for a place to get involved in the community, I invite you to go check out the Friends. They run a bookstore
Called
just a couple
Books
blocks.
Again,
Yeah,
yeah.
over Books Again.
And I mean, you are getting hardcover books for like $1.
Yeah. And so what happens, people donate books. Occasionally there's some books that either the library just has too many of or whatever,
Yeah.
or it's not really maybe to
Or
be
we're
in,
updating
So some of those books end
Yeah.
up over there. But
Yeah.
anyway, you get to buy books deeply discounted, and all the proceeds go back to programs at the library.
Exactly.
Things like summer reading program, some of these
Huge there, yeah.
talks and things when you go to them, and there's like a guest lecture, an author
Yes.
lecture, and you got some goodies out there.
All
usually.
all our food goodies come from donations from Friends of the Library. So,
So if you're looking for a place to get involved, the Friends, and by the way, they have a lot of fun because they get donations of books and stuff, and so half of it's going through books and seeing,
Yeah.
and you'd be amazed at what people leave in books and what they find in books.
Yeah.
Like everything from money to things not so fun. But
Yeah.
I mean, just
A
pictures,
lot of
photo, bookmarks. Yeah, so many receipts. It's like,
Yeah.
man, cost of meat in 2002 was pretty cheap. But but they're always looking for a few volunteers to be a part of the Friends Library. And by the way, Christmas, they usually do a special deal at Christmas, where they get donations of like brand new stuff, books, coffee table books. They usually kind of put those aside, and then they'll make them available during the holidays.
I love it.
For buying.
That's a good present. A coffee table book is one of the best presents
Well,
to
they're
give.
crazy expensive if you buy them brand new.
They're like
You're gonna
40,
get 'em at-
60
Yeah, you're
bucks
going to get them at Books Again
minimum.
for pennies on the dollar.
Mhm.
But yeah, you could drop $100
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for a coffee table book easy, depending on the popularity and
The
thickness.
subject.
and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
subject.
yeah.
Yeah, and usually the broader the subject, the more expensive it is.
But
the more niche, the cheaper.
Yeah. All those art books, I mean.
Yeah,
they're nice.
but like even if
Train
you have like
books.
waterfalls or like the things
Yeah.
they put on coffee tables to
Trains.
Yeah, just beautiful imagery
Yeah,
or something.
gorgeous, gorgeous stuff.
So, but anyway, that's where you'll find those at Books Again. But another way, if you want to support the library in a way, shape, go out there and shop for books.
Yep.
And volunteer there too. But that's what were these programs. But don't forget too, they have the weekly things for kids for like the preschool story times
time.
and things for English and Spanish.
Mhm.
And as I was talking before, I don't care what your kid speaks, bring them to both.
Yeah.
I don't care what
mean,
their
and
first
it's
language is, bring them
Preschool,
to both.
so it's, you don't have to be fluent. It's
Yeah.
stuff like
Well-
cow, vaca,
Well, if your child has never been introduced to Spanish, and at that age, that's the best time. Take them to Spanish preschool story time, and let that osmosis rub off. And guess what? Next thing you know, they're going to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll pick up on a lot of stuff. Yeah.
As we get older, it's harder to put things in the noggin. But when they're, I don't know if it's soft and mushy or whatever, but it just absorbs. They're just better at learning and
Yeah.
absorbing material at
That's
that
where
time.
they're learning everything.
And so
absorbing
things like
everything.
foreign language, if you're teaching them at 4 or 5 years old, multiple languages, that's when it's going to absorb and take in. And I don't care what you said.
Yeah.
If you're a human being that can speak multiple languages, you're going to serve. You've got a role served somewhere. You're going to eat just fine. You're going to live
Yeah.
just fine because there's going to be need for your service.
Absolutely.
So you're
It's
equipping your
an extra
children.
skill set to have. Absolutely.
And not to mention, it's also good for that human side, building,
Yeah.
exposing your
Connections,
child
bridges.
to cultures and things that aren't what you normally go.
Mhm.
That's how you make well-rounded,
Yeah.
well-adjusted, well-understanding kids that actually can put themselves in other people's shoes and understand that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Empathy, all those things, believe it or not,
That make
from
yeah.
doing stuff like this.
That make a great human being.
Yeah, this is the stuff. So please equip your kid. I don't care if they never speak Spanish. Take them to Spanish.
Yeah.
Let's do the thing. And vice versa. If the kid doesn't speak, take them to the English. Same thing. Let's give them all those tools. When they do the deals with the dogs where the kids get to read to the dogs and practice that, please bring your kids to that. If they do like game nights with Legos or board games, please, they're all free events. They're all great opportunities to have fun with your family or opportunities for your kid to learn.
What we try to emphasize is just we're trying to have family events, stuff for the kids, and it's like educate but entertain at the same time and bring the family together. The Sundays is when we have like the game boards and stuff like that. Thursdays, that's when we have our reading therapy with Zoe, our reading therapy dog. So if you have a kid that's struggling to read, or you just want to have a kid that's reading to read 15 minutes to a dog.
And you get to roll on the floor with a dog. How fun is that? And that's cool because these kids get to practice reading.
Yes.
But a dog isn't judgy.
No.
And so the kid doesn't feel the pressure if they mess up, no big deal.
They can take their time. They
practice.
I mean, how many of us remember the fear of being called out in elementary school to read?
Well, and then you mess it up and you're worried that everyone's going to make fun of you or whatever.
And here they can take the time, sound out every word. So,
get comfortable. And of course, there's, monitors around to help them if they're having navigation.
The handlers there. So, definitely.
To help them read through it and all that.
But we have had several parents come back and tell us after, a month or two of the kids doing this that they've noticed the reading level's gone up and the reading comprehension.
This is the stuff this is how you do it. I mean, you get in this world and there's so many things, and at the end of the day, it's working with your kids, sitting down and working through these things. And the library has so many resources to help you do that with your kids. And that's why I always tell you, take advantage of it. And all of it's free of charge. You get a library card. Anybody can get a library card. I think I don't remember what's the age limit, or is it?
Is it
parent discretion or?
Yes.
Okay.
So I believe they need parents' permission if they're underage.
Okay.
But I mean, if a parent is cool with the 5-year-old having their own,
gotcha. So there is no, it's at your discretion as a parent, and I encourage you to make a big deal out of it. I remember as a kid, and this might be a boy thing, I don't know, but I remember as a kid, like I got my, like you get your wallet. Your first wallet as a kid, they put $1 in it or something. But you're always looking for, and so you make that moment where you give them their first adult pocketbook or wallet or whatever, and say, all right, we're going to put, you ain't get no credit cards or nothing because you got to get a job first. But we're going to put your library card in here. And now you got your first official document in there that you get to show out. And maybe put in whatever other cool cards and things. But
for girls, it's a little purse.
But use this as that like rite of passage moment. Make them feel like, this is close to you being an adult. Kids love being treated like adults sometimes.
They do.
That's something that they so I think they're going to look at this as an opportunity of I'm passing into a next phase, and they're going to and to me that sets the table for them to enjoy reading, to look at it as a fun thing, not
giving them
something.
a little autonomy is a good thing.
And especially when they start hitting that age is where they're hitting school and they're making them read books and read things for education which is good.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's where you lose readers. Because now they're reading books that, quite frankly, may or may not interest them. Because that's part of the, not every boy is into Kill a Mockingbird. You know what I mean? It's just that the life it is. They're a very good book and highly recommend it, but that's not an interest subject for a lot of people.
No, So it's good to that's why I tell parents, they're already reading all these books that they may not want to.
Sure.
I mean, as great as book as they are, they might not want to. So if they want to come to the library and just read manga, just read comics, let them.
That's exactly what, and foster that and enhance that, encourage that. Because that's, so the moments where they're not really feeling like reading that school book, because that's the project, but they don't hate reading because of it. They'll still be like, no, I want to pick up my series on whatever.
Yeah, they don't want to read another novel because they're, where it's like, let them pick up, that's Spider-Man, let them pick up.
And I guarantee you this, them reading them comic books on the regular and everything else, I guarantee you when they take their ACTs and SATs and all that, I bet those language scores are a lot higher.
Yeah.
Because people that read generally have broader vocabularies and broader and understanding of words and things like that. And regardless of what you're reading, that enhances that if you do it on the regular.
Because for SAT, it's all about reading comprehension.
Absolutely.
So as long as, and then, come on, those comic books, what bubble do you start with, so
well, and then they understand words better because they may not know the meaning of the word, but in the context of the sentence, they're like, oh, it's got something to do with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and then hopefully, if it triggers them, so maybe I'll Google what that is.
How many of us know what gamma rays are?
Exactly. But they put it, no, I don't think gamma rays will be on the ACT, but you know what I mean? It broadens that imagination. It broadens that. the thesaurus of things. It really does. It kids, that's a book that if you're looking for a word that is like the word, but you don't want to use the same word over and over time, that book gives you options and alternatives. I know we don't pull those off shelves anymore, but that was in the staple of everybody's office at some point there. But really, that reading makes you a human thesaurus. That really does.
It does.
You get exposed to more words and things. So please get your kids involved. Get that calendar. Come out this weekend and make some tomato sauce. And then get on there for all the other stuff here too. And good deal. Is there anything we missed, Rosie? Anything we wanted to cover?
I think we got
I get a lot of soapboxes, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've got, our preschool programs. We hit Zoe, our reading therapy dog. And then for adults, we have some stuff too. We've got the garden club. We've got, I believe we have the
they
knitting
meet once
club.
a month.
The chess club.
And
chess
those
club's
are
for
master
all.
gardeners, too.
Yes.
They've forgotten more about gardening than you know. Probably.
Oh, yeah. They've talked about like weevils and, how to take care of your garden from insects and things like that to protect your stuff. So, I mean, they know what they're talking about. This isn't like us, the librarians,
But the cool part is they know how to explain it to you so it doesn't sound over your head either.
Yeah.
Like, because when you get to that level, they get pardon the pun, into the weeds with those science words and all that. And but they can explain it no, you put this on there and it makes it do this, and you're like, oh, now I get that. But they're like, no, you need the potassium to, they get all that.
Yeah, and they, like I said, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but they can explain it. It's like, no, you put this, and it kind of makes this and tweaks.
What happens if you had maybe a little too much or
those folks are amazing. I highly recommend you check out their monthly meetings, and it's same with when 4-H does their stuff.
4-H is the second Wednesday of every month, and they have little crafts and stuff. So come on down, and they provide all the materials, guys. So
you just got to show up and be ready to.
I believe this month they're going to be working with electricity. I don't know what that is.
All right,
but I'm interested to see what that means. So come on down.
Maybe just wear some rubber sole shoes. Just in
Maybe,
case. Very good. But as always, appreciate the visit. We see you next time. And folks, get out to the library. There's so much going on. It's
come on down.
You could literally set your future and have a lot of fun by just making a trip into that building and utilizing all the resources and things that are available.
Exactly.
So, good deal. Thank you as always. Don't work too hard. And we'll see you next time.
Try not to. All right.
Stay
dry.
Stay warm this morning and dry and cool when it gets hot later.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, 9:57. Let's take a quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
Priority list that's being pushed by the New Mexico Counties Association. The NMC bills itself as a nonpartisan group that advocates for the state's 33 county governments. One of the list's main priorities is to request funds to support recruitment and retention of county jail employees in order to maintain adequate staffing. And the list also calls for more funding for the Detention and Corrections Workforce Capacity Building Fund. However, Artesia area lawmaker Jim Townsend is urging counties to advocate for their own needs instead of joining a long list of counties advocating for huge amounts of money at the same time. Carlsbad Caverns National Park is seeking public comments on proposed tour fee increases. The last time those fees were increased was in 2012. The proposed fees are based on comparable fees charged for similar tours at other sites that provide guided cave tours. You can submit your comments online at the National Park's website by the end of this month. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in good shape for the next few days. Comfortable daytime highs today in the mid to upper 70s, and we should get sunshine. We have high pressure parked over the Four Corners area. Clear for the overnight hours, upper 30s to low 40s, and then plenty of sunshine coming up on Wednesday. It will be a little bit cooler. Highs will stay in the upper 60s. Thursday and Friday both look good. Highs in the 70s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
This is an important service update from Plateau for Roswell, Dexter, and Hagerman customers. We are aware that many of our valued customers in Roswell are experiencing service outages due to the recent weather event. Our teams are working diligently to restore services as quickly as possible. We understand how important staying connected is, and we appreciate your patience as we navigate these challenges. Please know that our top priority is getting services working safely and efficiently. Thank you for your understanding and support from all of us here at Plateau.
On air and online, this is Roswell's home for talk radio, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The incoming Trump administration continues taking shape. Senator Marco Rubio reportedly chosen to serve as Secretary of State.
After considering Rubio for vice president earlier this year, Trump apparently planned to name the Florida senator as the nation's top diplomat. The two men were rivals back in the 2016 presidential campaign, but have since become allies. Rubio, a member of the Foreign Relations Committee, is known for his hawkish position and for being a tough critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And Mr. Trump has named a Republican congressman from Florida, Mike Waltz, to the post of White House National Security Advisor. Former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin to take the helm at the EPA. Investigators in China say it was deadly and it was no accident.
Police say a 62-year-old man unhappy over a divorce settlement deliberately rammed his car into people exercising at a sports center in the southern Chinese city of Zhuhai. 35 people were killed, another 43 injured. Police said the attack happened late Monday and that the vehicle knocked down a number of pedestrians. Video shows a firefighter performing CPR on a person as others were told to leave the scene. One woman says her foot is broken. Dozens of people were lying prone on a running track. I'm Donna Water.
Although it was slowed by some light rain, a wildfire continues burning along the New York-New Jersey border. It's now about 20% contained. In Southern California, containment of the massive mountain fire northwest of Los Angeles stands at roughly 40%. On Wall Street this morning, stocks mixed at the moment. The Dow is down 9 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index up 35, and the S&P is trading 3 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Russia's latest assault on Ukraine saw drones, glide bombs, even a ballistic missile unleashed on civilian targets.
A 5-story apartment block in Kryvyi Rih, the hometown of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, was hit by a Russian ballistic missile, injuring at least 8 people, officials say. Emergency services with heavy machinery searched through the rubble. The missile destroyed all 5 stories in one part of the building. The attack's one of several which smashed into cities in southern and eastern Ukraine on Monday. 5 people died as a result of a Russian strike on Ukraine's southern town of Mykolaiv, and there was at least 1 death, with over a dozen injured from attacks on the southeastern city of Zaporizhia. I'm Charles Dillon.
Church of England head Justin Welby has resigned after an investigation found that he had failed to inform police about serial physical and sexual abuse by a volunteer at a Christian summer camp as soon as he became aware of it. Pressure had been building on the Archbishop of Canterbury to release the results of an investigation. Townhall.com. You can buy just about anything online these days, and this is one example of that.
Since it started selling cars in 2013,
Carvana has disrupted the U.S. used vehicle market with no-haggle pricing and an online buying process that cuts out the often dreaded salesman. The Tempe, Arizona company took advantage of many buyers' fear of negotiating with a dealer, letting them purchase vehicles via computer and have them delivered to their homes. CEO and co-founder Ernie Garcia says the company has lower costs than conventional dealerships because it doesn't have expensive real estate across the nation. It does have 17 centers nationwide where used vehicles are reconditioned before sale. Keith Peters reporting.
Federal auto safety regulators launching an investigation into whether engines on 1.4 million Honda vehicles might be subject to complete failure. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Hope your day is going very, very well.
Happy Thanksgiving, kind of. Yeah. Today is the Roswell Independent School District Thanksgiving lunch for elementary schoolers.
I enjoy that.
It makes sense that it doesn't carry over into middle school, but I was kind of bummed I don't get to go do because we used to split it. Like Mom would go and do one with Rhiannon or Hunter, and I would go the other kid.
Right.
And now Mom's out of town this week today, so this is just the one though. It's just they're just doing it at elementary level. So. But it makes sense. They're kids are grown up. It's not really a mature thing to do. Plus, I guess it's middle school is the time you start hating your parents.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because it is bad. Yeah. I could see where they're at that age where they're like, I don't want Mom or Dad hanging out with me at lunch.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah, that's true. So I imagine even though you, the parent, would like it to happen, I imagine. Although I bet Rhiannon would like to have lunch.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure I could, with Rhiannon's special needs class, whatever. I'm sure I could pull a string or two, but it's fine. I'm still gonna get the this is pull back at the curtain. This is what I'm really excited for is school lunch Thanksgiving. I love their Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, I do like the turkey. I do like that thin turkey.
But they don't do that anymore.
Oh no!
No, what they do it's like a turkey stuffing mix.
Okay.
So it's not bad at all. But
it's been a minute since I've had
the go-to though, and this has always been my thing, is the roll and the mashed potatoes and gravy. Yeah. That is better than fries and ice cream. Hot roll and mashed potatoes and gravy with brown gravy is the best, or that turkey gravy is the best dip you'll ever have in your entire life.
I do enjoy that. That is a good
It's a great dip.
What's the other thing?
Cranberry sauce, they do. I believe it's like a mix, a veggie mix, I think. I'm trying to go off flash. Actually, you know what? I have the
menu.
I have the menu, I think, on
let's
my ticket. Hold on.
Tickle our senses with the
no, I don't. Okay, it doesn't have the menu. But yeah, I believe it's cranberry sauce is on there. Oh, and it might even be cranberry sauce. I know they do a piece of pumpkin pie.
We got
with like the teeniest, itty bittiest dollop of whipped cream you've ever seen in your whole life.
Well, I'm sure it's because I'm sure because everything's got to be whatever sugar content, caloric intake. Like they have to measure all that stuff. And so they're like, no, don't make that dollop too big. It'll put us over.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm imagining the Thanksgiving meal is
quite larger than the average lunch
It
fare.
is a fuller meal for sure.
Yeah. You know, as Thanksgiving meals should be. So yeah. Well,
It always seems funny how early they do the Thanksgiving, because it's like we're still like 12 or 13 days away from Thanksgiving. And I know they take the full week off for Thanksgiving, so it makes fiscal sense or timing sense or whatever. But then it's like we always eat Thanksgiving early anyways, right? 2 p.m. is dinner time on Thanksgiving for some reason.
Some people not.
I don't know a single person that waits till dinner time to have Thanksgiving dinner.
Growing up as a kid, we did.
By that point, we're having more. We're having dinner again.
Now, as a child, now granted we ate dinner a little early, but it was like 5 o'clock. We ate growing up as a kid. Now, since I've been married and living my life, now, yeah, it's at like noon. But
yeah, I've only, I think 2 p.m. is usually like the standard time for us.
But yeah, my family growing up, it was always dinner time. We had it at dinner. It was like 5 o'clock.
And I don't know, maybe I was gonna say maybe that's because you guys have light a little later, but no, that's not. You have it earlier. What was sunset in daylight savings in Maryland?
Probably about the same time it is
about
here.
The same?
I reckon. I don't recall being extremely late or early or whatever.
Everything always seems late on the East Coast because it's like y'all's primetime TV starts at 8 p.m.
This
for
is
example.
True. Like football doesn't start till 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays or on the East Coast.
Yeah, boy, no excuse for y'all to go to church. Huh?
But then again, you're watching football till midnight. Like Monday Night Football is done at like 1 a.m.
Right.
It's really that was a problem growing up as a kid. And when the Redskins played Monday night, you're like, I'm only going to see, because they start at like 9 o'clock and like bedtime is like 9 o'clock. So I could like maybe catch a little bit if
I grew up and spent my entire life in the inner time zones. And those are the ones that they don't really pay attention to, the flyovers, if you will.
Mountain's the most.
It always used to throw me off when a TV show said it was on at 7 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. I'm like, how does that work? And then what time is that for me? Because I was Central for most of my childhood, and then I was Mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Thank you, TV Guide, because otherwise I would have no idea when things come on.
Yeah, it took a little bit of a time to, like, because again, growing up East Coast, it always, 7, and prime time starts at 8 o'clock at night there, not 7. So, like all the shows that come on at 7 here do come on at 8 there.
And that's the thing. Like, my entire life, 7 was always the start of prime time. So it's so odd that 8 p.m. is the standard start time for most of the East Coast.
Generally speaking, growing up, news was on in the 7 o'clock. Like the nightly news would be on. And then, 5 o'clock, I think now they show literally 3 hours of news. Like they would show like talk shows and stuff till about 5, and then I think they had a 5 o'clock news and a 6 o'clock news, and then the national 7 o'clock.
Right.
And then they showed like Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or something. And then it was your primetime program.
Y'all like to be informed.
Yeah, it was a lot of news, if I recall there, but it was DC where I live, so news. And this is really before the time where there was CNN. I mean, growing up later at CNNs and all that, but at the beginning.
Right.
Like, I remember, and this CNN had started. This was when CNN just had headline news. There was this channel called News Channel 8.
Okay.
And I believe it was just a local DC area channel, but it was literally like CNN, but news. But it was like NBC or local, like whatever news it was, and it was literally on 24/7. And I remember, but it died once the MSNBC, CNN.
Headline news was such a silly concept to me. It's like 24 hours, but then I realized, they're just showing the same 30 minutes of news,
pretty much
over and over until
and
something
if there's
big
breaking
happens.
it. But I liked it. I did like it in this again before the internet and stuff, because you're like, ooh, 20 past, I can get the sports score.
Wait, watching the ticker, right?
Let me get the sports scores. Or if you wanted weather, you're like, okay, it's whatever time. But I remember 20 after was sports scores. That was always sports scores.
Right.
That's one thing I cared about.
The one I grew up with, and we didn't have I'm pretty sure. I think the statute of limitations is lifted or is expired at this point. I'm pretty sure we stole cable for most of my childhood because we were poor. There was no way we could afford cable, but I distinctly remember watching shows on TBS, and I remember those shows start 5 after.
It was a thing back in the day.
It always made me chuckle that TBS shows start 5 minutes after.
You juiced the Jim Carrey cable guy.
I know we were stealing cable when we moved to Roswell because I remember helping my dad hook it up.
Hope there's no statute of limitations on that.
Oh, there definitely has. I mean, it's been 25 years. I'm sure we're fine.
Right. RPD's coming up later this afternoon. He's in that room, sir.
Yeah.
He's the cable stealer.
It's spelled Smalls, Smalls. Go ahead and run it.
Yeah.
It's clean.
He's a good boy.
Yep.
Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. He's got no clean record. Anyway, we're going to get you up to date with the weather and all that here in just a few. In about 5 minutes or so here, we're going to have Martha Staub join us. She is the Director of Marketing at Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. So we'll get an update on what's happening out at ENMUR from Martha. Then later on in the hour, local news and whatever else we can make happen for this hour.
We had to be stealing cable. That's the only logical explanation because I remember so many HBO free preview weekends growing up. Like we didn't steal premium cable. We just stole the basics.
Maybe they bought cable so you could eat various meats in cans.
Well, and I will say this, maybe that's where they splurged because it certainly wasn't in the kitchen.
Right, I was about to say. I think this is why you were eating various meats in cans because they splurged for cable.
Yeah. Most of the commodities I actually like. But God, mackerel patties. That never again.
Well,
never
it has warped your taste buds a bit because I know there's things in here that you like that I'm like, people should not like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a very weird guy.
I mean, I have a few weird ones too, but pound for pound, you have the weirdest.
I'm a fan of odd flavors. Yeah. And you know what that is? That was for most of my life as like a mechanism to keep people out of my snacks.
Right.
I'm gonna like weird stuff. Plus my mom. She's also weird, so that it's genetic.
I mean, that's a tactic. All right, it is 8:16.
Who ate my cloth kalash?
Let's get you up to date on the weather. That's why he likes circus peanuts.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in good shape for the next few days. Comfortable daytime highs today in the mid to upper 70s, and we should get sunshine. We have high pressure parked over the Four Corners area. Clear for the overnight hours, upper 30s to low 40s, and then plenty of sunshine coming up on Wednesday. It will be a little bit cooler. Highs will stay in the upper 60s. Thursday and Friday both look good. Highs in the 70s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 45 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 83%. Winds calm at the moment. Nice day today. Sunny skies, 77 for a high. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 40 degrees. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, a little cooler, 66 for a high tomorrow. Northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, skies will be clear, overnight low of 36 degrees, south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, 68 for a high, south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Back into the 70s for Friday, sunny and 74. Saturday, another warm one like today, mostly sunny, 77 for a high. And then Sunday, we are looking at a 30% chance of showers, partly cloudy, 68 for a high, 50% chance of rain Sunday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 46, and they've tacked on a 20% chance of rain for Monday as well, mostly sunny and 62 for a high there. All right, it is 18 minutes after 8. We're going to take a 2-minute commercial break, and then Martha Staub with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell will join us on the other side. Don't go away.
Attention, Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Ford knows recovering from an unexpected natural disaster is stressful, and our hearts go out to everyone who experienced loss due to the flooding. The damage left behind is devastating, but we're already seeing what it means to be Roswell strong, and we acknowledge and appreciate the heroic efforts of local authorities, first responders, and National Guard rescue teams. We've already received and continue to receive special shipments of new Fords and quality pre-owned vehicles available for immediate delivery during our massive Super tent sale. It's at our temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. These new and pre-owned vehicles without flood damage are being offered to the public at unprecedented savings. We've instructed our staff to take any car in any condition. In fact, even if it doesn't run, we'll come get it and give you a generous allowance toward a new Ford or high-quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll work with your insurance company to help you get what you deserve at Roswell Ford's temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. Thank you.
Seven Rivers Waterfowl, ATC, and MIL to CIV present Toys for Tots and Ducks for Vets Sporting Clay Shoot fundraiser Saturday, November 16th at the ATC Shooting Sports Complex south of Carlsbad. The event kicks off at 9 a.m. with 100 targets per person, with door prizes, gun boards, lunch for all shooters, and more. Each four-man team is only $650, with proceeds to benefit Toys for Tots and local military veterans. Sponsorships are available. For more information, call Casey Summers at 575-513-8289.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
Your fingernails grow faster on your dominant hand. Not sure which is your dominant hand? Just wait. You'll nail it. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. I got to talking about wrestling. And joining us in studio this morning from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, Director of Marketing, Martha Staub, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you today? We were talking, and all of a sudden I said, oh, he's talking. Oh, I've got to talk. Of course, life is, well, it's kind of busy right now at the college here. You know, it's semesters, of course. With Thanksgiving break, everyone's kind of scrambling to get everything turned in and done, and we'll be talking finals here in feels like a week or two.
Yeah. I know you guys were talking about Thanksgiving earlier. I'm like, dang, that sounds so good.
Right?
Literally in the waiting room, just like, it sounds amazing.
Well, maybe you could just because I could have to do the same thing. We'll just hang out. It's like, any kids need a parent to hang out to eat Thanksgiving with? I just want a turkey. But I don't know, people frown upon that when you do that. So. But life is going pretty well, pretty busy at ENMUR right now with semester, everything else. A lot of social side too. That's the thing. Always, we always talk and come on and say, hey, sign up for classes. And of course, now we're getting in that part where you sign up for spring semester and getting all that too. But though it is technically a community college, it serves the need of the community. It in and of itself, it has its own social life, its own world, its own amenities, its own things that. So though you're not, necessarily, and we do have few folks that live on campus, just like a traditional, UNM or something like that. Yeah. And so you have a lot more out there than you realize. It's not just we have so many students that probably, busy lives. They go work, they got the families. And they go to the class or do it online and then come home and that's it. And it's like, no, there's like, if you want to plug in socially or plug in to some of the other stuff, there's a lot going on in the campus.
Right. There's a lot of things you don't hear about externally. I mean, if you're following our social media, maybe, but we have our writing lab who constantly has events there to help students improve their writing skills.
Absolutely.
And we also have our career center that, they have an event coming up of how to dress for an interview. There's a lot of those basic things that maybe students at this point aren't really thinking about, but now we're preparing them so that they go out into the world and they're good to go.
Well, and I would even offer that some of these skills are skills that are maybe slipping in the way of the world we live in now. And what I mean by that, and not through anybody's fault, but just the way we educate, the way we teach, the way we communicate with each other, it's great in some aspects. But sometimes you miss the fine the fine nuances of things when it comes to like presentation, how to present yourself in a physical presence when you're in a room, face to face with someone, talking with someone, how to interact with someone, eye contact, shaking hands, showing engagement, things that were skill sets you don't necessarily need behind a keyboard or something like that. And to be honest, when it comes to landing that job, that's the stuff that nails it. Especially if you're in a job where everyone looks at their resume and they pretty much got the same training, the same. Right. It's okay. How does this person work in our group? How does this person handle situations? How does this person conduct themselves in the world? Does that jive with what we do? And that's really sometimes the difference between landing the job and not landing that job.
That handshake is always the thing.
Yeah.
I make sure that I have a firm handshake and I'm looking at you, like in your face,
Absolutely.
in your eyes.
Yeah.
And I've made sure that I've kind of kept that skill all the way through. And a lot of students don't know that.
Exactly.
And so, we have a fantastic career center that is really educating those students to get ready to go out to the world and do that.
Absolutely. And you will find some of these classes and some of these things that you get, workshops and things like that, that they will serve you well in not only you trying to land a job, but just every other aspect in life. Things that, it's interactions with people. People skills is a skill set that will serve you well in any facet of life. From home life to work life to social life to every aspect of that life. The more tools you have in your tool belt on that side of things, you'll be amazed at how many doors open for you, how many opportunities fall in your lap, just because you're nice. You know what I mean?
He'll flourish. Absolutely.
It is thing.
Makes a difference.
Absolutely. So please, if even if you think you know this stuff, come in there and check it out. You never can have too much of this or learn. It's how people think and how people interact with each other. That's probably the greatest asset a person can have when they try to navigate life. Because even if you don't know how to do the certain thing, if you know how to talk with people and interact with people, you can get those things.
For sure. It makes or break,
Absolutely. So please take advantage of that side of things. Because I imagine you're probably, especially if you maybe, you've got the resume and you're finding out, and maybe it's that side. Maybe it's just a vibe you're putting out there that's not resonating with people,
Yeah. So hopefully we have taught these students well enough so they flourish.
Absolutely.
And they can get out there and land it.
But that's this is what we're saying. ENMUR offers so much of this kind of thing. Like, don't forget the financial side. If you're having, food issues or financial issues, there are support systems on campus for students and even non-students in some things that are resources out there that they're willing to help. If veteran, not veteran, all of the above. They've got it there if you're in need. If you're looking, to start your own business, there's resources out there to help you to do that. There's so much out there for and technically, you can take advantage of a lot of this stuff and not really be enrolled in a class per se on some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it you have to and be a student in good standing and all that. But some of the stuff that if you just need help, but again, come out to the campus and talk.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to take a quick minute and just say thank you to all the voters of Chaves County. Our Bond 3 passed.
Absolutely.
So, 57% of Chaves County voted for it. And, so now gives us the opportunity to expand the aviation building.
Well, I'm pretty sure there isn't a meeting in Chaves County that Dr. Powell did not visit during the course.
He was everywhere.
He was, but it's so important, and that's why. So you're absolutely correct. Thank you for voting on that.
I was calling people. Thank you to everyone who answered the phone that I called. And poor Dr. Powell, I would meet with his administrative assistant, and I'm like, all right, what does his calendar look like? And we were just feeding places in, and he's like, I'm like, yeah. So he was everywhere.
And it's so important. And I know when we talked with him on the radio, and I always say it every time, he wasn't technically allowed to say vote for it. I was like,
on.
Yeah, vote. Yes. Yeah, he has language. I'm like, no, vote for that.
And
bad
I
boy.
saw that. So I'm like, what are y'all saying?
But I always clarified, he's not allowed. It's me. I'm saying whatever I want on this one. And I'm telling you, it's a good deal. But well, it is. It now, thanks to everyone voting yes on that, they can really do the upgrades that are needed to the aviation technology maintenance facility here and continue. And to be honest, this you really helped ENMUR set the table for what could really be, especially with air races, with everything else, and this could be one of the, and it already is, but it grows even more to where they offer a specialized thing that is unique, where you cannot get at very many other places. I think there's one other place in the state right now that you can get the type of training for aviation maintenance that you can get at ENMUR.
We won't mention that one.
Yeah, but that's just to tell you, there's not a lot of options for folks that are in that field. So you really lock down something that can really allow this community and the campus to thrive.
And I spoke to a lot of students when we did all of those videos, and their passion for that, for what they're going into, is amazing. So I'm really excited for the future of them.
And as a guy that was in the Air Force and did a little wrench turning myself, I can tell you this: if this is something that appeals to you, and you go and get those certifications, and you go and get your AMP license and all the things for that, you can write your own ticket in that industry right now. You can go where you want. You can command big dollars, and then once you get in with a company and get a little bit of experience, oh my goodness, the world's your oyster. It really is.
But get the interview skills down and the handshake.
Yeah, but do all that part too. But those skill sets are highly in demand, and they're demand. And let's face it, COVID really, 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 really hurt the aviation industry. They lost a lot of skilled and qualified people that were just on that blink of retiring or on the brink of retiring and all that, and they're still recouping from that hard. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you want to know why all the delays are happening during the holidays, and you hear about these near misses and traffic controllers and this and that. Oh my God. It's because we're lacking the skill set. They can't train them fast enough to get them in there, and so they have a lot of new people, and so this is an industry that's really, really needs people in it, and so
it scares me because before I got this job, I was on a plane every month flying somewhere, and it just, like clockwork, nothing ever happened. But my God, now that I'm on the ground and more stable, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many horrible things happening, and that's why it's just they're working to, they don't have enough support on those.
And so what you're seeing in NMUR is hopefully one of many places that are trying to fix that.
No wheels falling.
So, but young folks and all folks, if you're looking for a career change or whatever, check into the AV, especially if you're like, you kind of like mechanical and like doing that kind of thing. It's
never too late.
Oh, it isn't. No, it's you can, and you're trust me, your quality of life can drastically change by doing that. Absolutely. So anyway, but again, big thank you to everyone that voted on Bond 3 here and do that.
Thank you.
Yes. And also the library Bond 2, which was Bond 2, I believe. That also does benefit all libraries, including the library at the college there, but your school libraries, your city public libraries, all the above benefit for that. So I believe all the bonds did get a yes on them. So we're very thankful to.
Yeah, they're all beneficial.
Senior facilities, they can use all that too, and it's all money that. It's not extra money. It's not. These are bonds that already. They just need permission to release the bonds, and so you get the money. So but and they'll be asking next election cycle or whenever the next one is here too, because it's constantly and what happens is and we've talked with Dr. Powell on the radio more about this, but basically I'm sure I think you probably guys have projects lined up for the next 1 or 2 bonds here coming up because they have to plan that far in advance and because basically when they issue these bonds they got to put in and say this is exactly what we're going to do with this money. So when they ask the voters, they're telling them specific, like when NMMI, they're using it for a lot of renovations of historic buildings over there, and of course aviation here, and every institution that benefits from it has to put a plan out saying what are we going to do with this, and they're basically asking for X amount of dollars from it too. So.
Yeah, we celebrated for about 2 hours, and they're like, "All right, let's go to the next one," and that's just how it works.
Yeah, so I'm sure they've already got and I imagine it's one of those parts where all the department heads come to you at one time. We could really use a flux capacitor in the whatever lounge.
Ooh, now that would be fun.
That would be cool. But, widget A, whatever it is, they all want.
I walk around that campus a lot, and I'm like, we could do this, and my ideas are far bigger than my budget.
Right.
Just, I'm like, all right, calm down. So
what would be nice in here? A pirate ship. Oh wait.
I am bound and determined to make sure that we can make that into the Google campus one day. That's like my dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I would love that.
But you do need to have a few slides to get from floor 1 to...
I think that would be cool, though.
Or at least a fireman's pole or some kind of way other than stairs to get up and down.
I've walked around that campus. At Google, they have so many cool little niches and little hideaways that people could work outside and stuff. And I'm like, we're going to do that one day.
My knowledge of it is watching the movie The Internship.
Oh, my God. That was a great movie.
Vince Vaughn
and
I can't remember the other guy's name, but Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Yeah.
I just imagine, I was like, I hope really Google looks like that with the, because I think they got one of the one of the ships hanging in the rafters.
Yeah.
One that broke some kind of record.
Yeah.
It's like okay, it's sleep pods. I want
Yeah.
a nap pod.
Yeah. If we get those, I don't think we'll get out of them.
Yeah, but in theory, I like a nap pod.
Yeah.
But good luck with that. And if you need support, let us help you with that.
Thank you.
So, and then can we have a day pass for people that maybe don't have a class, but I just want to go and
I think that would be great. It would be a great recruiting tool.
like a gym membership. Just
Yeah.
go and hang out in the nap pod or
Yeah, come to school, register, or come work for us, and you get to enjoy these amenities.
eat 2 bagels if I want.
Yeah.
You mean I can have as many bagels as I want? What if I have one like a bagel now for a bagel for later?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
That's a great movie. I got to go back and watch it
Right?
again. It's such a great movie.
Pretty much when I'm doing the scrolling through channels and that's on and there's not more than like 10 minutes of it left, I'll usually stop and watch it. But anyway, I got sidetracked again.
That's how we started.
It's pretty much my whole life. But anyway, let's. What else do we want to definitely make sure we get out there to folks?
So we have the Roswell and Chavez County Education Fair happening this weekend
Okay.
from 9 to noon at the ITC Commons. So this is a really great fair for those that are probably not in college yet, maybe those high school, maybe 13 and up. That's
Okay.
kind of where I kind of gauge that. But this is where you can come and see all the other schools. We have
Kind of give
NEMI,
them ideas.
Jobs, Job Corps, Youth Challenge. So this is a really great way to kind of introduce students of way that we have other trades. And
Sure.
Not colleges for everybody.
Sure.
So
Well,
there's other things that you can venture into.
Absolutely, and of course, many of you that have kids around that age know, in RSD and schools across the country, they're starting to kind of shift the gears where yes, the kids and students that choose to want to go the traditional college path, or if they kind of know that's their path, they can start even earlier. There is a obviously it does take a certain amount of dedication and workload, but we got lots of children, lots of students. I keep saying children; these are adults at this point. Lots of students that when they graduate high school, they also have an associate's degree in their hand, and you know what I mean. And that's. But then there's other students that no, they draw towards vocation. They love working with their hands. They love welding, or they love. By the way, you can get that certification at the college too. But yes, you're right, and that's the younger. They're starting to stay younger and saying, okay, what are you interested in now?
Right.
You like working with your hands. You like doing math. You like STEM. Okay, let's start plotting your course into those directions.
Absolutely.
And that's where we can and offer a lot. And then for some students, it is the traditional college path. For others, it's a trade school or military or something else. Yeah.
So that's really we're gonna have a couple booths set up that are a little interactive, and so they can come around and see.
But it's great for them to be thinking at that age about it, because I don't know. I feel like when you're like 10, 12, it's always like, what do you want to be? A firefighter, astronaut, a teacher, whatever the standard education paths that children are familiar with at that point. But now at this point, it's like, yeah, you love drawing and you love working on the computer. Well, here's a whole world of careers that falls in that. Do you want to pursue some of that? Let's and start learning about that at 12 and 13, and instead of at 19, 20 when they decide what they want to do. Because at 19, 20, let's face it, certain people are ready to bust out and go on, and then other people are like, I've been living under the thumb of someone else for the last 18 years. I want to spread my wings a little bit and dip my toe in the world and make mistakes and learn from them.
Right.
Hopefully.
So hopefully this will guide our students.
Absolutely. And that's this weekend.
This weekend
Yes.
from 9 to noon at the ITC Commons.
Very good. Yeah. And that's part of the main campus.
Yes,
there.
yes.
If you're not familiar with the campus there, it's right. But basically, when you get there, follow the crowd because it's on a Saturday, so probably pretty quiet except for that area.
We'll probably have signs and stuff.
Not like a bunch of classes going on.
Right, of course. And then, of course, we have the Turkey Trot. That's the following weekend, November 23rd.
Yeah.
So, registration starts at 8, the race starts at 9.
Mhm.
So your ticket to get in is a can of perishable food, dog food, cat food. So we're going to benefit the our food pantry and the Salvation Army and the Humane Society. So it's all for a great cause.
Absolutely. So help them out. And I know all entities, due to recent events, could use restockings of the shelves and things like that. Too,
and I got something on that. we'll talk about the next thing here.
Yes, go for it.
Yes. So this just kind of came up, but we do have a recovery town hall. The Department of Homeland Security, New Mexico, FEMA, and the Small Business Administration will be having a town hall at our ITC Commons, and that's Wednesday, November 13th at 5:30.
Okay, so that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So this kind of just again kind of just landed. And
sure.
So,
well, that's kind of.
But this is important.
Yeah, this is kind of with FEMA in town now, and these resources, and they're setting up and doing things. It's kind of. A lot of this is going to be kind of last minute, so just keep your ear to the ground. We'll share and pass along all those messages. But if you do need some kind of assistance and things, come on out to the college here. What time was that again?
That's going to be at 5:30 tomorrow.
5:30 tomorrow
so
in the Commons, same.
ITC Commons, that's going to be on 23 West Mathis.
Yes.
So if you need a direct address. But yeah, this is a great way to get information, ask questions, and we're absolutely happy to host it. There's just a lot of people out there that
NMUR is a community entity, and they always are supporting the community in so many ways. And that's something that that's and then long even before Dr. Powell and everybody else was here, that relationship with the city or the community and the college has always been that way. And I know there's the campus is always stepping up to help when the community needs it, and vice versa. When the campus is in trouble, the community also has come in to help out. That's just what we do.
I'm an alum from ENMUR, so yes, I remember that even when I was attending as a student.
Yeah,
the communication between the community and our college has always been wonderful.
But what's really happening is as technology happens here, and as we learn more. What that college can do now is so much more. Whereas if you tried to go there, say 20 years ago, it's a community camp college. It was kind of limited on programs and things like that. But with what we're dealing with today, you can do so much here in your own backyard. You can get your whatever degrees you're thinking of to and use ENMUR as that portal to get you there.
Absolutely. I mean, I started at ENMUR and then I went to Portales to finish my degree. So
And whatever school, if there's a campus in New Mexico you're in love with, whatever it is your end game is, the good news is, thanks to some people finally getting smart about it half dozen years ago, every credit transfers seamlessly to it. So if your plans are to go to UNM afterwards, all that transfers, or NMSU or high, whatever, NM Tech, whatever it is you're going to. ENMU, Portales, obviously that one transfers pretty easily. But
I wish I had known that when I was a kid, when I was younger, because I did. I was, just like every other kid, want to leave town, but my dad's like, nope, you're staying here. You're going to go over there, and then you're going to go down the road. And so I was like, okay, I guess.
Well,
but it was very beneficial.
And this is that other aspect too that we always talk about is you have a great support system here, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on four-year universities or major, but if you're not fully prepared to do that life,
by surprise,
it does. And you're literally going from a world where, let's face it, your teachers are reminding you to turn in this, to be here on this time. And when you go to Texas Tech or UNM, there's no one to do that. Right. And quite frankly, you're going to go into a classroom in there, and you're going to take, especially if it's like English 101 or one class that everybody else needs as well. You're going to walk in there, and all of a sudden you're not in a classroom, but you're in an auditorium with about 150, 200 other people.
Yeah, it's jarring.
And you will find none of that at ENMUR. You literally will go into a one-on-one class, and it'll be you and about 20 other people.
Right.
And if you have a question, you know what you do? You raise your hand.
Which is amazing. That one-on-one and being able to talk to your instructors, that's huge. Because
Absolutely.
In those other institutions, you may not have that. You're probably going to have to go and schedule some time in an office. You're going to have probably you got
to make an appointment. And,
it's a professor who's grumpy, like, why didn't you listen in class? Sure. And so it's a very different environment. And I know quite a few people that did that. They went right after graduation, went to the 4-year, probably didn't fit, and most of them came back.
Yeah.
And so, also, that we have a really great community that wants to stay near their family, and so they have their support system here.
It's awful nice when you come home to a home cooked meal instead of ramen in the microwave or whatever's whatever burrito or whatever's offered in the cafeteria. It's nice to have that.
Yeah.
And nice to have family near you. And by the way, if you need help, because eventually you will. If you go through your college career and don't need any kind of tutoring or anything, then I don't know, maybe you're just a genius or you're not doing it right. Because college, you're going to hit walls. You're going to hit moments where you're like, it's supposed to challenge you. That's college. and they have so many resources to help you through those moments. And all you got to do is take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And it's not, and I feel like, we are all afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit of it hurts your self-esteem when you're like, I'm
Sure.
defeated. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. And so luckily, we have those resources.
Mm-hmm.
And we always remind our students,
Yep.
if you need help, please come to us so we can make sure you pass your class.
Absolutely. There's no judgments, and
Absolutely not.
swallow the pride a little bit.
Absolutely.
I get it. As a person that I get it, I'm a very much independent type mindset. I don't want help unless, I feel, but no, there are times when we all have to say, you know what, and don't feel ashamed or any kind of way about it. Because some people think, well, I think I'm supposed to know this, and I feel embarrassed that I don't know this. And it's like, no, don't do that,
Right.
because that's what these folks are here to do, and answer those questions and help you navigate through that. And it's not because we all have things that we don't know. Even if we think we should know, we don't know, and life happens. And so ask for the help.
Ask for the help.
Because trust me, once you're on the other side, it's so much better, and
Absolutely.
you can help. And to be honest, you're going to be amazed the older you get in life. You're going to realize that the people you think know everything don't know everything. You know what I mean? Like, and you're going to think, man, I'm like, as you're younger, you look at people and you just think of them in these certain orbs and as you get older, and then you start experiencing your own life, and then you start comparing, you're like, all right, now I'm seeing where they struggle, and where, you know what I mean? And so as you get older, you're going to learn, man, I'm smarter than I think I am, and all that. And trust me, it'll come. But as you're young, ask for that help. Don't be ashamed to ask it. That's how people get there is swallow their pride.
Get used to it, because when you get into jobs, you're going to be asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? And, I think that's one of the things you tell a supervisor. I'm not afraid to ask questions. And I think that's very, that kind of lends you the job too, because you're flexible.
Sure.
And knowing that you're open to that. So.
Sure. And if you have questions about that stuff, I always try to think, me personally, I always think, okay, what's my end game on what I'm trying to do here? Whether it's get my job or get whatever it is. And then basically, if I have a question on a decision, whether I should do it or not do it, I always look at it and I go back to my end game. I said, okay, at this moment, is this helping or hurting my end game? Right. And if the answer is hurting, then I probably shouldn't do that. Right. And that's, as I've gotten now in my 50s, that's kind of a life lesson I've learned. And like when I get tempted or get something, or should I do this or that, I really go back and say, well, what am I trying to accomplish here? And does it help or hurt that? And if I can't say it helps it, then maybe I need to reevaluate. Yeah. So, and just a piece of advice from a guy who's stepped on a few piles of poop every once in a while.
We all do. We all do.
That's right.
Still am.
That's right. And will continue to for me as well. But I keep getting sidetracked on you here.
It's okay.
What other events and things we definitely want to put on people's radar?
Of course, we have graduation December 12th at the PAC at the Performing Arts Center. Of course, we have 2 graduations, and then our small business department has a conference happening December 18th.
Excellent.
So yeah, we're going towards the end of the year, but we have quite a few things still happening, and of course we do have interior things still happening for our students. So
well, yeah, it's a busy time in the class schedule and all that.
But all of these ones I mentioned, they're open to the public, so please come and support. And definitely like the turkey trot, that's a big, and of course our education fair, that's huge. So if you have a student at home that doesn't really understand their path or wants to know where they want to go, that's a perfect deal. So yeah, we have quite a bit. And so of course,
or maybe you as a parent want to learn some of those options too. Come with your kid and do it. Yeah,
it's never too late. I told my mom, she went to school a long time ago and didn't finish her degree, and I was like, all right, Mom, let's go. You can do this online. And she's like, I'm too old. I'm like, you're not too old.
Yeah.
She's like in her 60s. I'm like, we just interviewed a guy last year who was, I think, 78, who finished his aviation degree and didn't tell his kids that he was doing
that. Was an amazing story.
That was awesome.
Yeah. He was a speaker at the was it last summer? It was a graduation. I remember
the spring graduation.
Yeah, spring. There you go.
And I'm like, Paul, you got to do this. I went and bought his cap and gown. I sent it off to him. I'm like, all right, do the video.
Yeah.
And he's just so inspiring. And so I told my mom, I was like, you're not too old. Just finish it, you know? And so,
yeah.
I'm convincing her. You can do this anywhere.
Absolutely. Well, and
or come to the, maybe if you don't want to be at home, come to the campus. Have fun.
Absolutely. And that's another, even if you're not pursuing a degree per se, and maybe you're retired, maybe you're, looking to do something, take a class for your own personal enrichment. Not everything has to be about, statistics and math. Maybe you're like, I want to take a pottery class. I want to take an exercise class.
Yeah.
I want to, you know what? I love history. I'm going to take a U.S. history class, or I'm going to take a literature class because I want to find some books to read.
Yeah. I mean, and now that you're saying that, registration is open.
That's right.
For the spring.
That's right.
Of course, we do have our arts and sciences department.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get into criminal justice, that's a really great spot. Health and science, if you ever wanted to explore that, that's open. And of course, our tech education, welding and automotive. There's so many options. Just everyone go to the website, roswell.emnu.edu.
You know what? That's a great idea. Maybe you're retired and you're kind of thinking, man, I want to learn how to weld. I want to learn how, you know what I mean?
It's possible.
Absolutely. Even just maybe you want to be an artist, but you want to be a welding artist. So you're like, I don't know how to weld. Maybe I should learn how to weld.
Learn how to weld. There are things that happen around the house. I'm like, I probably should have learned that.
Well, and there was real quick, the former president of the college, when he used to come on the radio, he was, he talked about, he's a doctor and got through his degrees and all that. But when he initially started, his collegiate career and stuff, he went in for auto mechanics and all that and got his certification as an automotive. So basically he worked on cars. Now, obviously a president of college, not a lot of,
right.
they're a little different there. Yeah. But he always used to say, you know what? Every time I need my oil changed or something broke, guess what? I don't have to pay that money. I know how to do that stuff. Yeah. So those skill sets serve you well the rest of your life.
We are very self-efficient in one form or another by education. And you never stop learning, no matter what age you are.
Yeah. So don't, even if you're not necessarily pursuing a degree plan, you just want to better your life and do things to enrich your own life. And, maybe you're looking for a social life. Maybe you're kind of like, I don't get out of the house. Take a class, meet some people. Next thing you know, you're going to go have lunch after class and you're hanging out and doing things. So.
I mean, we have a really great Cub, so we have Starbucks on the campus. That's right. A lot of people don't even know we have a Starbucks on the campus.
You don't tell these people. They're going to cut the line and go head down to the campus. I know I drive by this one every day, and there's a line around the building.
Yeah. I see that line. I'm like, no. I'll order online and hope for the best.
Like, man, they really like coffee.
Yeah. It's your go-to.
Wait half the day to get it. But anyway. So I don't know, pro tip. The line to the long, sneak on, and you're heading that way anyway. Well, just pop on in.
I mean, and register for classes first before you come and get the coffee.
That's right. Well, maybe that's the thing. Like, and you get a pass to our Starbucks.
I mean, I think that's a great idea. That's a Michael Scott idea. Golden ticket.
We'll call it our Starbucks Executive Club, and then come sign up, and only exclusive to members of our college.
Oh my gosh. They'll be so mad when they hear this interview.
Everyone puts on suit and coat and dresses, and they walk in. It's very, very it's very exclusive when you get in there.
Oh my gosh! But
there's a red carpet and a rope and a velvet rope. It's all right.
Yeah, we have a lot of really great hidden treasures on the campus. A lot of people don't know about.
Absolutely.
So we're really working hard to expose that.
If you're a student and really don't spend much time on the campus, if you get some time, spend it. Walk around, get lost, and go find things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely. Is there anything, Martha, we wanted to cover that I got on a sidetracked on? I'm good at that.
That's it. I got everything. I talked about everything I wrote down. So
excellent.
That's literally everything we have happening. Just the turkey trot. Please come.
You're helping out.
It's a fun run. It's a fun run, walk run.
Yeah, you can take it as serious as you want, or as not serious as you want. But bring that can of non-perishable food. I bring 2 if you got it, if you can afford it. But that's the admission to participate.
Yep, and that's all you need.
Yeah, and come on, that'll be next weekend.
Next weekend, the 23rd.
Roswell.enmu.edu is the website. You can find everything we just talked about there.
Absolutely.
And, of course, if you want to sign up or enroll at ENMUR, you can do that there as well. If you are enrolling, now's a sweet time. Right. Don't wait a couple weeks and everyone's trying to get classes. It gets a little busy. So
if follow us on social media.
That's
I'm
right.
working really hard on those accounts, so please go like them.
Absolutely. I know there's a couple of different follow through there, but there is a main ENMUR
Right.
one. And of course, if you're a student, you need to have that because anytime there's a weather delay or any kind
Absolutely.
of change in the programming a little bit, that's usually the first place it pops up. So
Absolutely.
usually that's how we get it. So
And please come to the town hall if you were affected by the flood. Please
tomorrow
come
at
to the town-
5:30 and the Commons there,
ITC
Commons on the campus of
23
ENMU.
West Mathis.
Call
Yes.
if you have questions about that or anything. It's 637,000.
64-7000.
I was off by one number.
Yeah, 64-7000.
So close.
Yeah. So.
Very good. Well, thank you as always.
Thank
and
you so
we'll
much,
we'll
Mike.
see you
It's good
next.
to see you again.
Yeah, good. We'll see you next time. And
Yeah.
tell him, just tell him that Dr. Powell's got too many things. Yeah, I got this.
But he loves coming here.
He does. We like having him too. He's always
I'm like,
fun.
when is it my turn, Dr. Brown? He's like, I got this. And
Well,
so, I let him do what he wants
Just
to do.
follow him and then sneak in and then sit next to him next time.
I'm literally his shadow sometimes. And,
What we do is you come in and he'll sit down and then you just come shooting right in right before I go on there. And we're here with Martha Ann. Hey, I'll do that.
Oh, my
next
gosh.
time.
that makes a fun conversation when we get back to the campus.
That's right. Well, bring coffee. That'll smooth it over. As always, thank you. We'll
Thank
see you.
you,
We'll see you
Mike.
next time.
See you.
Hopefully next month, maybe.
Okay.
Or at least both of you. Maybe it'll go.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Compromise.
Work on it. We'll work on it.
All right, it is 8:54. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
At Martine's Capital Cafe, come in and enjoy a delicious variety for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try our burritos, huevos rancheros, asado, chorizo, sausage, flantas, fajitas, chili rellenos, quesadillas, enchiladas, sopapillas, and don't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger and so much more. Everything is prepared with the finest and freshest ingredients. Martine's Capital Cafe. Quality, value, tradition, and the most delicious New Mexican food since 1989. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th Street in Roswell.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. U.S. stocks finished higher yesterday in what was a choppy session for the tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 more or less in positive territory for most of the session. The bond market was closed. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and Bitcoin topped the $83,000 mark for the first time as former President-elect Trump, has expressed support for crypto, and all of this for the market, sort of a continued upswing concerning enthusiasm ahead of a Trump White House. Today's economic calendar, look for last month's NFIB Small Business Optimism Index. In terms of company-specific news, J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and Citigroup all saw their share price gain, part of a potential easing of regulation on the banking sector. And Tesla, as of last Friday, became a trillion-dollar company. The e-vehicle leader popped again yesterday, and that's also part of a post-election upswing for the e-vehicle leader, as CEO Elon Musk is a close ally of Trump. On the downside, big names in tech endured a sluggish session, including Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. And today on the earnings calendar, look for results from Spotify, Home Depot, Instacart, and Tyson Foods. That's the Market Report. I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
If your insurance rates are going up and the last time you saw a decrease was the Reagan administration, folks at SID, an American Patriot Insurance Agency, they put the freedom of choice back in your hands with their exclusive Rate and Bind online portal. Visit ampatins.com or call 888-322-3565 to save an average of 25% on auto, home, renters, business, even pet insurance. Call 888-322-3565 today.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got a football score from yesterday. It was the 8-man quarterfinals, and this was a game that was postponed from the weekend. Gateway Christian mauls Clayton by a score of 69-18. Gateway's now 7-2 on the season. Clayton finishes at 8-3. Gateway will take on Melrose in a state semifinal this Saturday at 1 o'clock. That'll be in Roswell. Gateway, hopefully that'll help them a little bit. They lost to Melrose 62-16 back on October the 4th. Here's some volleyball seedings. We'll talk more about this on Thursday when the state tournament begins. Roswell gets the 5th seed in Class 5A. Goddard is the 9th seed in Class 4A. Dexter is the 10th seed in Class 3A, and in Class Single A, it's Gateway Christian with the 2nd seed. They'll all play on Thursday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in good shape for the next few days. Comfortable daytime highs today in the mid to upper 70s.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. New York Judge Juan Merchan is put off for 1 week, a ruling on President-elect Trump's criminal conviction, whether to dismiss it in light of the Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity. Rallying his troops at the U.S. Capitol, House Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans ready to deliver on Mr. Trump's mandate following his resounding election victory. And the president-elect has been busy putting together his White House team.
In the days since the election, Trump has named several people for key positions, including Susie Wiles as White House Chief of Staff, Congressman Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik for United Nations Ambassador, and former Congressman Lee Zeldin as EPA Administrator. Trump also has selected Tom Homan and Stephen Miller for a pair of roles that will include immigration enforcement. Miller will be Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, while Homan will be Border Czar. Greg Clugston, Washington.
China's military buildup goes on as evidenced by an exhibition. It's now underway in southern China.
Chinese military has decided to use this air show to reveal to the world its new J-35A stealth fighter jets. The People's Liberation Army now has 2 different stealth fighters as it looks to dominate the region with increased tensions around Taiwan and the South China Sea. There are also air defense missile systems, attack drones, communication blocking devices, helicopters and homegrown commercial aircraft on display.
The BBC's Stephen McDonnell in Beijing. The illegal Venezuelan immigrant charged in the killing of 22-year-old Georgia nursing student Laken Riley has waived his right to a jury trial, means a judge will hear the case. On Wall Street, stocks have turned negative now. The Dow down 115 points. The Nasdaq is off 14. The S&P 12 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Germany's main political parties have set February 23rd as a date for new elections following the collapse of Chancellor Olaf Scholz's tri-party coalition.
Chancellor Scholz, in effect, called time on his government when he sacked his finance minister, Christian Lindner, the leader of the economically liberal Free Democrats, last week, amid budgetary rows. Mr. Scholz's centre-left Social Democrats are now in a minority government with the Greens, but he seems certain to lose a vote of confidence, which will likely be held next month. The date appears to be a compromise with the main Conservative opposition. Friedrich Merz's centre-right grouping has a clear lead in opinion polls.
The BBC's Danny Aberhart. A flight attendant was injured when an incoming Spirit Airlines plane was hit by gunfire over Haiti. The country's international airport has been shut down as a result of the violence. The flight was diverted to the Dominican Republic. News and analysis at townhall.com. The election of Republican Kelly Ayotte as New Hampshire's governor means a record 13 women will serve as state chief executives next year.
Experts say women holding top public office normalizes their presence and opens the door for more women to seek executive positions. 18 states have never had a woman in the governor's office. Kelly Dittmar of the Rutgers Center for American Women in Politics says 13 out of 50 is still underrepresentation for women. Governors hold powerful sway in American politics, shaping state policy and often using the experience and profile gained to launch campaigns for higher offices. Bernie Bennett reporting.
A former drugstore worker in the small Indiana community of Delphi has been convicted of murder in the 2017 killings of two girls. They vanished during an afternoon hike. Richard Allen has been found guilty in the murders of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German. Evidence included a recording of Allen telling his wife, "I did it." More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Jason Piernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Indubitably.
Hope your Tuesday's going well.
How was the rest of your Veterans Day?
I don't know. It was work. It was a normal day.
I mean,
for the most part.
The go home. Did you take or partake in any Veterans Day goodies?
No, I usually don't. I'm not.
Man, you gotta strike while the iron's hot. There was steaks to be had last night. You could have gone out and had a whole buffet dinner.
Yeah, I know. I don't like, and that's. I don't like being proud of people. I'm just not my thing.
I think I get that, but
just hate you.
For one day, let them, let them.
The juice is not worth the squeeze.
I beg to differ, my friend.
I don't. It used to be, but this day and age, you know what? I'd just rather just be at home and cook my own steak.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just know that Golden Corral has a chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
And to me, that's worth putting my shoes on.
I love all of that. I love it. I do. I ain't a thing wrong with it. I just go by there, and there's a line out the building, and I'm like, I don't want it that bad.
You got to pick your spots, man. Like if you'd have gone like right at even if you'd have gotten a to-go order, because they can do to-go for you.
I know.
So just go and get a to-go. Oh, yes, there is. Yes, sir, there is, sir.
I know.
Get yourself some rice, some try-to that Bourbon Street steak.
Put it this way.
A couple of those fantastic rolls.
I don't feel right coming there, taking a free meal and leaving. That feels not right either to me.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it. They do it. I'm just hit a point in my life where I don't like standing in line. I don't like crowds. People tend to just grate on me a little bit, and so I'm like, I'd just rather stay home.
Was it the pandemic that did it for you?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I understand.
Maybe. I'm not in that place anymore. I'm just not wanting to do that.
I don't like a line really, but like that's the other thing is I will never understand people in a drive-through line that's like a mile long.
Yeah.
It's like, go in.
Yeah. I've done that multiple times.
Go inside.
I do it multiple times. My wife and I tend to do that one. She'll order something and we'll go to the drive-thru, and it's like, I could literally walk in and grab it and be out of here right now. Now you gotta wait for 4 cars to go get this.
Yeah.
So, so I do it in my
cursing under my breath the whole time because I'm sitting there watching people order off the menu board, not through the app, like savages.
That one does get up my skin. I'm not gonna lie, and I get it. Sometimes you just go, and it doesn't even bother me if you're just by yourself and you order. It's when they order for the entire family, and it's and to be honest, even pre-app, if you're ordering for 60 people, you need to get your butt inside.
Yeah, no,
100%
100%.
meant for people that don't have time.
Quick and know your order before you get up there.
You're ordering for 600 people, and you're literally ordering for a party, and then you got to get all that. Or worse yet, you're letting your kids do all the ordering, and now it's like, all right, hold on, I got to pull the minivan up so the back can get and tell you what they want. And I was like,
you have to know your go-to, and this is the beauty of it.
That is so rude to society.
And this is where I love. Certain apps do it, certain apps don't. But I love that they will just remember the last thing you ordered and be like, boom, 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 pay, done.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, especially nowadays where we live in a world it's too easy not to do that. If you're doing it now, you're just being rude to everyone around.
Right. Right.
That's how I see it. So I'm a little like I'm gracious in a lot of things, but when certain nitty stuff, people's self-awareness, that drives me so nuts. When people don't have it, and they just do this stuff, it drives me crazy.
And I mean this with all due respect. It's when you encounter the NPCs in life.
You explain to people who have no idea what you just
said.
said.
An NPC, for those who don't know, is what they call a non-playable character in a video game.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's somebody who is there, but doesn't really serve much of a function.
They're just in the background.
And you'll find, as you go through your life, a main character, you're going to find all these little NPCs throughout that just pop up every now and again to sell you a loaf of bread or, give you directions to the next apothecary or whatever it happens to be,
Yeah, of course, there's another way to look at that little analogy, too. And that gets to the narcissistic side where everyone thinks you're an NPC in their movie. And I'm like, go pound sand on that. Anyway,
before the term NPC, I always think about the people who die in the Godzilla movies. Like nobody ever thinks about who was just at an office job on the 16th floor of that building that giant lizard just crashed into, or
the red-shirted Star Trek member.
Yes.
Yep. That wasn't. Pretty much if they went on a landing party and then you had the stars and then the guy in the red shirt, goodbye guy in red shirt.
For those who watch professional wrestling, anyone wearing a shirt that says security on it, it's pretty much those guys.
Right.
As soon as you see a group of security guards standing in front of a wrestling ring, you're like, oh, those dudes are toast.
Speaking of events, I do want to touch on this real quick because I'm going to watch it. I think I have to work,
okay.
But so Friday night is this big Tyson. And,
it's Friday, okay.
It's Friday night, the big Tyson and
Jake Paul
fight on Netflix. And
Ka-chung.
so there's been a lot of videos and things of interviews, hyping and all that. And actually, Roy and I had a conversation.
I was hearing your spirited discussion.
Yeah. Because he thinks Jake Paul might win this thing.
I think. Well, I'll give him this. I give more credit to Jake Paul in the boxing ring than most people do because I've actually seen him work. He's not a bad fighter.
I must say he is legitimately giving it his all.
That being said, Mike Tyson is a concrete wall.
That's what I was trying to explain to Roy. I was like, you don't get it. I lived during the era of his heyday. I saw the rawness of that man.
Right.
If you're seeing a much polished, much more human version of Mike Tyson.
I understand that Killer Kowalski eventually got old, but that dude could still crush an apple in his hand at like 90 years old. You're going to tell me that strength just goes away? No,
And
my friend.
all I'm saying is, you provoke that man, he will destroy you. I don't care how many years older he is. I don't care. The man has a switch that when he turns it on, it does not turn off, and quite frankly, destruction happens. And if he now, here's the things that the variables here. One, is this a legit fight, or is this some staged, choreographed shenanigan thing?
It's not a stage fight by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not. But deep down, thinks there might still be a chance.
Because there's so much money involved, I highly doubt that it's a stage situation.
Well, and the fact that Tyson's legit training for this makes me feel like it's not.
Right.
But
now he's done things in the pro wrestling sphere before, but
but I've lived on this earth long enough to never completely solidify whether this is legit.
Also bear in mind, Jake Paul, and he has enough experience in boxing, but Jake Paul's majority experience is in kickboxing or mixed martial arts. He's very used to using move sets and using kicks. You can't do that against a Mike Tyson, so it kind of takes away a big portion of what Jake Paul is known for fighting-wise. Now, that being said, he does have experience in the boxing ring also. He has done boxing matches.
Fought a few fights. He's fought. I don't think he's fought anybody in their prime. I think he's fought a few names in their
Didn't he fight Mayweather?
Yeah, but... Well, and Mayweather's not Tyson.
Right.
Mayweather is a boxer. He's not a
He's a good
artist.
boxer, though.
Good boxer.
Right.
He's not putting people on the canvas.
That's true. not all the time.
Very rarely. He's a guy that you go the distance. He's a technique boxer. He's a guy that will out-technique you. He doesn't knock you out.
You know what? What one image of Mayweather always comes to mind whenever anybody talks about him? He was on an episode of Ridiculousness. And with him, he carries a backpack. And that backpack is full of cash. Literally stacks of wrapped $100 bill. He walks around with a backpack full of cash. That infuriated me when I saw that. I'm like, really? I can't. No, that just angered me. I don't know. Jealousy, maybe.
I'm just surprised someone's robbed him.
Well, he's got a security detail too.
Sure.
You know,
where there's a will, there's a way.
He's got a big deal, and he's also a boxer. I mean, I'm not going to run up to Mayweather
again. Floyd Mayweather is no Mike Tyson.
But I bet he's got his cardio up. I'm just saying he could probably run a lot farther than I could.
All I'm saying is if there's people that know he runs around with a backpack full of money, they will get that backpack full of money.
I'm going to get that backpack. He says he does it for strip club use. Because you always want to make sure you've got a fat
all
stack.
I'm saying is they will circumnavigate all of his gruffness, and next thing you know, that thing's just gone. There's going to be a moment of down, and then it's gone. Trust me. They'll be lurking. That's what they do. Anyway.
Try pepper spray them. All they're going to end up is getting a spicy angry.
And to be honest, I don't know. I'm not trying to talk like but Floyd Mayweather is not the intimidating man that is Mike Tyson.
No, he's not.
Not even close.
But so it'll be interesting to see what happens. How it goes down.
Floyd Mayweather is like one of Tyson's legs, to be honest.
I just hope they do a pigeon release on Mike Tyson's entrance. That'd be excellent.
There's going to be a release, all right.
Somebody's going to have to sign a medical release. Buzzing!
That's right. But, of course, we have football that night, so I might be bored up or babysitting the football and having the Netflix on my iPad watching. Of course, it's a Tyson fight. I don't know. It could be over in 3 seconds. Or it could, I have no idea. But this, it's Tyson. This is the thing, the pay-per-view of Tyson fights back in the, 80s and 90s.
Yep.
I spent $150 and the fight lasted 90 seconds. All right, we're going to replay our interview we had with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. He joined us in studio yesterday. That's what we got on tap for you for this hour of the show. Before we do that, though, here is your weather. A warmer, nicer weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in good shape for the next few days. Comfortable daytime highs today in the mid to upper 70s, and we should get sunshine. We have high pressure parked over the Four Corners area. Clear for the overnight hours, upper 30s to low 40s, and then plenty of sunshine coming up on Wednesday. It will be a little bit cooler. Highs will stay in the upper 60s. Thursday and Friday both look good. Highs in the 70s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 52 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 66%. Winds currently out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Expect sunny skies and a high of 77 today with southwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tonight, overnight low of 40. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 66 for a high, so a little cooler tomorrow. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday night, skies will be clear with an overnight low of 36 degrees. Winds out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. Sunny on Thursday, highs around 68 with south winds 5 miles per hour. Clear Thursday night with an overnight low of 38. Warm back up into the 70s on Friday, sunny and 74. Clear with an overnight low of 43 Friday night. Saturday, mostly sunny and 77. And then Sunday, rain chances enter the forecast. Again, a 30% chance of rain Sunday. Partly cloudy, 68. 50% chance of showers Sunday night. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 46. And a 20% chance of rain Monday. Mostly sunny, 62 otherwise there. All right, it is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then we're going to play our interview with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925, we have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency.
Attention, Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Ford knows recovering from an unexpected natural disaster is stressful, and our hearts go out to everyone who experienced loss due to the flooding. The damage left behind is devastating, but we're already seeing what it means to be Roswell strong, and we acknowledge and appreciate the heroic efforts of local authorities, first responders, and National Guard rescue teams. We've already received and continue to receive special shipments of new Fords and quality pre-owned vehicles available for immediate delivery during our massive Super Tent Sale. It's at our temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. These new and pre-owned vehicles without flood damage are being offered to the public at unprecedented savings. We've instructed our staff to take any car in any condition. In fact, even if it doesn't run, we'll come get it and give you a generous allowance toward a new Ford or high-quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll work with your insurance company to help you get what you deserve at Roswell Ford's temporary location on West 2nd Street between Toyota and Allsup's. Thank you.
Have you ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
You've heard of a Four Seasons room, but have you heard of a Four Seasons window? Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing and Windows. It might surprise you to learn many windows are built to handle only the cold or only the heat, but not both. In Southeast New Mexico, one or the other doesn't cut it. That's why Trustmark windows are built to handle our Four Seasons climate. The scorching summers, the bone-chilling winters, and everything in between. Special glass coating blocks extreme UV rays A stout frame prevents warping from the extreme weather changes, and insulated glass is like putting your home in a giant styrofoam cooler in the winter and keeps cold out and warmth in. And in the summer, it keeps heat out and cool in. For our 4 seasons weather, get 4 Seasons Windows. Call today for your no-obligation spring window assessment, 575-755-7663, or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us and good morning. It is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, now officially, Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Happy Veterans Day.
Well, happy Veterans Day to you. You served.
I did serve. Thank you very much. But I just throw the blanket Happy Veterans Day out there to everybody. So.
Yes, thank all the service people who served.
Absolutely. And take advantage. I was trying to run down some of those deals. Please, by all means, you check with the restaurants first. Like I said, I was reading them online, and they're, that's going to be app participating. So I am not sure if the ones locally here are participating on those. You'll have to call and ask directly or check. I know there's a few I missed, and usually Golden Corral's one that always offers free. I didn't see that on that list, but I know traditionally here in town they're offering free meals to veterans. And
awesome.
Because all the reason I know, because I live not far from it, and usually Veterans Day, there's a line out the building.
Good.
So, but yeah, all of our veterans out there, thank you for your service, and
yes, thank you indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, the only oddities about serving in the service that I know are basically World War II kind of stuff, and so during World War II, there were some people that didn't want to go to war.
Sure.
And so they joined the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
They job in the Coast Guard.
Well, guess who drove the landing crafts in the Pacific?
Yeah, I was saying, guess who's fighting too?
Yeah, it's Coast Guard.
Yeah. There's a reason we include Coast Guard in our veterans thing, because they're veterans. They fight, they do. And to be honest, Coast Guard, they're kind of, because in the peacetime role, they kind of serve as like law enforcement in the water. I mean, and by that I mean not only busting down drug runners and things, but helping people like EMS and everything else.
Oh yeah.
You ever watch Deadliest Catch and one of those boats goes squirrely? Guess who's out there in a helicopter in the middle of the storm? It's Coast Guard.
Yeah, my neighbor down the street was Coast Guard, and then they were running interdiction. And they pulled some boat over.
Yeah,
and I don't know exactly what went down, but somebody in the little boat shot my neighbor in the arm.
I'm about to say, there's cartel wars and all kind of stuff that these Coast Guards deal with. It's dangerous. It's not, if you're going to hide in the Coast Guard, that's not the best place to hide. Nope. That's all I'm saying.
Nope.
I mean, we military vets give them, a hard time because, like the other kid, but that in real life, there's nothing, ain't no jokes about it.
And then during the Vietnam War, there were people who, to try to get out of combat, joined the Navy to be medics.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Guess what?
The Marines don't have medics. They use Navy medics.
So guess where they go? You go follow Marines around. You're the first ones in. You're going in with the people that said that everyone else said, no, we're not doing that. And then the people said, yeah, we got this. You're going with them.
Yeah, so you gotta watch out for that stuff.
Yeah. Life's not always, the grass is not always greener on the other side here. But and that's what we talk about with veterans. And I mentioned this on Saturday, and I always try to mention it. It does not matter your role in the United States Armed Forces. It does not matter what you did, whether you were combat
or not.
You were in the combat ready stuff or you're in the support side. Every little bit of that is important to the mission. Without that thing, and so yes, you may not be the one that had to see and do some of the things that people are talking to therapists about,
right?
But at the same time, without that, exactly everything. Well, people in the military, you don't want to mess with people that cook you food or provide you because
they're important.
Yeah,
hello,
they're important people. And so the odds are the person you're the nicest to is the guy feeding you food or the guy that's taking care of a need, because life is going to get really crappy for you if you piss that guy off. We all know that importance. So.
Yes, everyone who served is important, no matter their MOS.
Absolutely. And so I want our veterans to know, because I know every time I'll talk to veterans, I'm like, I was a cook. Or I was like, so you signed up, you did this, and guess what? Where you're cooking and where they put you to cook sometimes, they ain't trying to bomb the Applebee's here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes that things happen like that. You know what I mean? And so it's yes, your role is very vital. Do not trivialize. Do not downplay your service to our country. Whether we're dropping bombs or shooting guns or peeling potatoes, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And we're thankful for everybody who has served.
Absolutely. So please remind, because I just know every year veteran. Oh no, don't trivialize your service. Yeah. You did something that not everyone in this country or on this planet are willing to do.
Yeah. A friend of my dad's, in fact, was telling me he served in World War II, and I'm like, okay, well, so what'd you do? And he tells me, I was one of the Remington Raiders. And if you don't know what that means, it means he was a typist.
It sounds pretty, would you run around and free some? No.
They had Remington typewriters.
Right. You think of Remington shotguns, and they're like, no, different Remington. Yeah. Well, and the military is very good at creating, jokes and ways to deal with things that you don't like dealing with. That's why the military people are generally the most smart alecky people on the planet. Because that's how we cope with life. Everything sucks, and you're just putting a spin on it to make it funny in your own warped way.
Well, you got to get through it, and humor's one way to get through it.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, so big thank you to our veterans.
Absolutely.
And like I said, if you do have some time today, please come out at 1 o'clock and celebrate the Daughters of the American Revolution as they do their placard dedication there, and come be a part of that. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool deal. It's a free event and everything else. And I know NMMI is doing their veterans breakfast this morning. I think if you didn't RSVP, you're a little late to the ball game now, but that's a free breakfast. I know there's the dinner tonight at First United Methodist Church for veterans.
And what time is that?
Let me pull up that flyer. I don't have it.
So First Methodist down here downtown, just off 3rd Street.
5 p.m. tonight at First United Methodist Church. They're going to have music by Mary Gonzalez and Danny Castro. They're going to be honoring veterans Jack Swickard, Jim Casti, and Jaime Ferrero. Dinner consists of smoked chicken breast or brisket with some sides as well, too, here on that. So, but that's at First United Methodist Church, free dinner tonight.
5 p.m.?
5 p.m. for veterans and their spouses.
Yeah, Jack's story is really interesting. Are you familiar with Jack's story?
I am very familiar with it. Basically, to make a long story short, if you've seen the movie We Were Soldiers, and the Greg Kinnear character with the helicopter, and basically that's kind of what it's all loosely based off, was what he did during NAM. Was some of that stuff.
Well, I didn't realize there was a loosely based movie on that.
Yeah, We Were Soldiers with Sam Elliott and Mel Gibson. I think it's a Mel Gibson. I feel like he directed.
We Were Soldiers Once was We Were Soldiers Once and Young. So because I'm not sure, I don't remember the helicopter scene.
Well, this is kind of
the Mel Gibson one.
Well, and there's the thing where they're kind of stranded, and their really only contact is with the Greg Kinnear character in the helicopter bringing in and stuff. And so the movie's not about the helicopter. He was just one of the unsung heroes as part of that. And so
because that was written by autobiography basically by the guy who was the commander.
Yes. And so basically Swickard, that whole is I don't know that you could talk to the more closer folks, but it's all loosely tied to that, and that movie and what he did in NAM was basically that.
Yeah, Jack and one other guy volunteered to go pick up people who were trapped.
And that's kind of what the We Were Soldiers
Americans
story.
and South Vietnamese regulars, and I think they made 3 trips. He said the last trip, when he landed, the defensive perimeter was inside the rotors.
Yeah,
it was that bad.
They were basically and like you see those kinds of scenes in some of those Vietnam War movies. Yeah. Like I don't know, it seems like especially Vietnam. Like every time you watch a Vietnam movie or Apocalypse Now, it doesn't matter. They all have it. There's always that scene where the enemy has got them surrounded, and then they're waiting for the Huey to come in and pick them up and get them out of there. That's kind of what he did in those kinds of.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Bat 21?
That's the one with Gene Hackman.
Hackman.
Yes, I did see that. Where was he Was he a pilot shot down?
He was a
Was he like
electronic defense?
That's right. I remember seeing the movie. It's been a minute since I've seen it, but I think I kind of get it mixed up with it because there was another movie, like Flight of the Intruder was right around that time, and then there was another one of those movies. What I want to say with Owen Wilson, where he was a pilot shot down during NAM and all.
Oh, Owen Wilson was the he's in Serbia. He's in the Balkans.
Yeah, maybe that was the one, but they all kind of were roughly around the same time in the theater, so I kind of get them mixed up in my head.
Gene Hackman's a good one.
But yeah, Bat 21 with Gene Hackman, that was... Matter of fact, I think that was one that I never saw in theaters, but it was on HBO for a minute, like every day, and I was right in that sweet house of my life where I got a chance to watch a lot of HBO. And it was like every time you... Because this was back before you had... and this was fancy for its day, but you had cable and you had an HBO, and my parents actually got ponied up for HBO and Cinemax, and so I had them all. All 4 channels. I was like, you don't realize that was the Cadillac of cable at that time.
Well, Bat 21's a true story.
Yes, but it was on it was in the rotation of HBO movies at that time, and so I remember any given time I'd turn it on, and there was like a 50% chance that movie or one of the other 7 movies they showed at nauseum were playing. I've seen the movie in its entirety, but I've probably seen like parts where I'd turn on like, oh, this is the scene where he's at, But yeah, and it's a good movie if you ever get the chance to check it out.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. We are way off our normal thing we got going on.
Well, that's okay. It's Veterans Day.
But generally speaking, if you're not familiar, Matt joins us each month, and we talk just good legal advice. Sometimes because of Matt's practice, he deals a lot with family law and of course financial, family planning, financially business planning. So that's a lot of our conversations are preventative law stuff generally, stuff that things you should do or prepare for, and if you do that, then your time doing more insidious stuff or harder stuff with people like Matt is a lot less. But you're dealing with attorneys a lot less if you do it right the first time.
You do it right the first time. Oh yes.
Yeah. So that's really what our conversations are geared toward, just trying to get you to do it right the first time, so you're not having a pound of headaches and dealing with that stuff later down.
Well, I had one of those come in just last week. The gentleman had come in for a bankruptcy consultation, and so we were talking, and then one of the questions is, do you own any real estate? Because certain homes are protected to a certain dollar extent.
Gotcha.
And so we got to figure out, how much equity you have in the home. And so I always ask people, you buying it on a mortgage or owner finance? And he says, owner financed. And I said, oh, okay, we'll need a copy of that paperwork because that's called an equitable interest versus a legal interest. And that question's in the paperwork. It's one of those lawyer word thingy bobbies. So I asked him, are you going through escrow? And he says, no. And I said, oh, really?
That's a red flag.
Yeah,
especially if this is owner financed and kind of privately transacted. Usually escrow is the one safety valve for things like that.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was asking him, he goes, oh, well, the sellers, do it for years and we get along and blah, 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 blah.
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah. So I asked him, how do you make the payments? Do you get a receipt? Oh, no, we just make the deposits at his bank. And I'm like, okay. But, that is just ripe for blowing up. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that can go wrong with that.
That's walking a tightrope there.
Yeah.
Living dangerously.
Well, he asked what do you mean? This is a dangerous idea. And I said, well, if there's a mortgage, I said, what I commonly see is the seller, something happens. There's a car repair, medical expense, something happens. And so they take the payment for the real estate contract, and instead of using that to pay the mortgage, they use that to pay the car repair, the medical bill, or whatever. And so the buyer ends up making the final payment on the house, and guess what? There's still a mortgage out there.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that they're doing it nefariously. Like the intentions were good to begin with, but when life happens and things, so even with people you trust and things that you can't do this kind of thing.
So you go through a real estate contract or an escrow, And so why is that good? Well, when the escrow company, they send the payment directly to the mortgage company. Yeah. You make sure the mortgage gets paid.
It's official. Everyone, once it's in, it's just it's the peace of mind that everyone knows that this is on the up and up. And if you go through that process there, and so no one's going to skip town. No one's going to be left holding a bag. It's a safety valve for all parties. Really is.
Well, it really is.
Yeah.
The other way it blows up is the buyer makes the last payment, and then the seller says, "Well, wait a minute, you got 4 more years," because they just remember the payments differently. And sometimes the sellers are not do it on purpose. And a lot of times they don't,
right?
But they just miscount.
Sure.
And with an escrow company, they've got the deed for the buyer, and they keep track of when the last payment was made.
Sure.
And not only do they have the deed for the buyer, but there's an independent witness for the judge, if necessary, of who made the payments and are they behind or not behind.
Sure. And then it sure makes it handy when, life happens and someone dies or someone gets sick and someone else has to take over some of these things or who's responsible parties. It's sure a lot easier to handle that stuff when it's done through escrow and things.
There you go. Well, exactly. When the seller passes away and you're dealing with his kids, they don't know what payments were made or not made.
Exactly.
And they're not going to give you a deed till they try to figure it out. Yeah. And it gets messy.
Yeah. So this is the catch all. So when tragedy happens or when nefarious happens, this is the thing this is the check and balance that catches it. Basically, that's kind of it's kind of like how our government's supposed to work too. There's checks and balances. This is part of that kind of thing for your own personal plan.
Yes, and that's why at least go talk to your family attorney or some attorney and find out. Okay, well, this is what I'm thinking. Is what's likely to go wrong, and how do we avoid what might go wrong?
Yeah, trust me, because a lot of times people avoid these things for what they think is less headache or less, path least resistance here.
Yeah.
That's only wonderful if nothing ever happens, and if you're betting on that one, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Because that's inevitable. Death and taxes, the same. These are inevitable things, and both of those fall in these categories.
Yes. it's gonna go sideways. Gonna go sideways.
Yeah.
But you're right. People are, I don't want to spend $150, $200, $300 on an attorney. And, my buddy says he'll sell me the house and he signed a contract. But when you do with an escrow company, they will record in the county and notice that you're buying the house. Mm-hmm. And if you don't deal with an escrow company, you may not know you need to do that as the buyer. Because if you do not record a notice that you're purchasing the house, the seller can sell that thing out from under you, and you, the buyer, are out in the cold.
Exactly. And ain't a thing you can do about it. Sit there and complain.
Because you had the golden opportunity to prevent that from happening by recording a notice, and you didn't. So you're the most guilty party in that triangle.
Yeah. This is life. It's not just in the legal and financial world. Life is preparing, anticipating. This is the stuff we're all the things we're talking about and that Matt talks about. Yeah, they're kind of marketed to life and family and finances and all that. But generally speaking, these are really just life. You apply them to every aspect of your life. We talk about, preparing to have wills done or knowing the difference to set up the protections for your business or anything like that. This is all just research and data. We're not telling you golden nuggets of information that are hidden behind some lockbox. We're giving you the key to the cat. No, we're telling you what's really common knowledge. And unfortunately, people when it comes to finances and legalities, everyone thinks they're an expert in their own little thing because they saw a thing on a TV show once about something.
Yeah.
Or they saw an article online that covered one facet of one thing that really did not apply to anything we're talking about.
Right. Right.
And so we're experts all of a sudden, because let's face it, there's a lot of Hollywood movies and TV shows about lawyers and legal stuff and doctor stuff too, which is all related. But again, it's all the same thing. All the things that we're talking about here, that they put on a TV show that they solve in an hour, is not how it works in real life. And so you've got to prepare for that and plot for that. And so that's what we're talking. But all of this stuff equally applies in any other thing in your life. If you're trying to get better at your job, using these same preparing and planning tactics, you'll find will be successful in your career.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or family. Yeah. Maybe your family's just a hot mess. Can't get organized. Can't get nowhere. maybe applying some things, putting some routines, creating a schedule, creating, planning, coordinating. You might find that the chaos will just, I'm not saying go away because it's kids and family and that happens, but maybe, just maybe, might be a little control to your chaos.
Yeah, and talk to somebody who knows something, not your neighbor, not somebody, who didn't go to law school.
Exactly. That's, and the thing with law, and this is something that I'm sure Matt spends 1,000 times a day telling people every time he's dealing with a client. Just because you're both dealing with a divorce case or a bankruptcy case or whatever, does not mean that they're the same case. 2 bankruptcies, 2 divorces, they're entirely different. And what Matt does in one situation worked best for that. It may not work the best in another situation.
Yep.
So that's when you get a lot of word of mouth. Well, I heard they did this and this. I was like, yeah, but if I do that for you, you could end up losing the house or whatever the story is. I'm just, putting a plot in there. There's other variables. There's other things that are preventing or allowing you to do what you want to do on that. And that's where you got to sit down with someone like Matt and say, this is where, because Matt's been doing this for a long time. He knows exactly the ins and outs. He's seen, and this is, when lawyers get more seasoned, more practice, over the years, you see everything at some point. Everyone tries to pull something, and over the years, and lawyers are very ingenious. They're smart people. There's a reason they go to law school, and even the dumb ones are pretty smart. And so they're pretty conniving. They're pretty, and so that's why you gotta, trust the experts on some of this stuff, and don't rely on your own expertise you may or may not got off of TikTok
or Googled it and found something that really doesn't quite apply to your case.
It's like being a doctor and your degree is WebMD. It doesn't help you.
No,
you because by the time you read that thing, you're going to convince you of polio or something else, and you're like, it's just a cold.
I had an engineer come in one time from WIP, and you'd think, he's an engineer. He's got to, have some ability to have rational thinking. But he came in and something had gone sideways in his life, and he had a lot of bills and was thinking about a bankruptcy. And it's like, okay, well, stuff happens in life. And so we're talking about it. And, how long you been at WIP? He says, like 18 years. Oh, okay. And so in the bankruptcy, you have to list all your assets. What kind of retirement do you have? And he says, I don't have any. I'm like, you've been with WIP 18 years. I know you got some kind of retirement.
You didn't save anything? 401k, something.
Yeah. Well, then they have some pretty generous stuff down there at the time.
I was like, they probably give them some benefits. Did you sign up for any of them or do anything?
Yeah, they had profit sharing. And so, what do you mean you don't have anything? Oh, well, I talked to my buddy, the famous last words.
Oh, no.
And he said if I filed bankruptcy, I couldn't protect my retirement. So I drew it all out and spent it. And I'm like, you did what? In a bankruptcy.
That's one of the few things that is protected.
It's 100% protected, yeah.
You did the complete opposite.
Yeah, you could have $750,000 in there and you keep it all.
That's the point of bankruptcy, to protect those things. That's the whole point. Otherwise, what are you protecting?
Yeah, man, his jaw hit the ground, the poor schmuck.
And you just defeated the whole purpose of filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just say, screw it, let him take it.
Oh, my gosh, that poor guy. So that's why.
Sorry, I thought that was funny.
Now, but at the time it was pretty
I'm
sad.
starving, but I'm going to McDonald's and not buying food. Just going to look at it and leave.
So that's why you go talk to an attorney first, folks.
Yeah.
There's there's things you can do for preparing for a bankruptcy. There's things you cannot do preparing for a bankruptcy.
Sure.
And the farther away from the bankruptcy filing you are, it looks like good planning. Immediately before the bankruptcy, it looks like funny money stuff.
Sure.
So that's why you really need to go talk to an attorney.
Absolutely. And let's face it, when you're dealing with bankruptcy, obviously things aren't right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be bankrupt in the first place. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And so that's why you got to let some down. And quite frankly, the more you try to do it yourself, I'm not saying it's gonna, but 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be worse than better. It's just the odds, and there's so much things that unless you're a person that literally does this for a living, it's hard for you to understand what your protections are, what your full, and that's why talking to Matt or someone like Matt, that this is what Matt does. This is, he knows all these things and can, and every time you get an idea, bounce it off Matt. Matt could tell you, great idea, or no, that's not a great idea, and here's why.
and it's yes. So the bankruptcy laws are pretty generous. We get to choose actually New Mexico's state exemptions or the federal bankruptcy exemptions.
Okay.
And the state exemptions are much more generous. So an exemption is an asset that's exempt from collection, exempt from creditors. And so it's really subtle. So you can protect, for example, money that is traceable to an IRA, but you can only protect a right to receive Social Security benefits, for example.
Okay.
So the right to receive versus money traceable to or from is a huge freaking difference.
That makes sense. Again, it's all in the language.
So you say, well, I've got $10,000 in the bank. Cool. Where's it from? Well, it's, Social Security. Well, but this language says your right to receive Social Security of veterans benefits. It means future payments, not the past payments in the savings account.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a little subtle difference, which, could mean $15,000, $20,000 depending on how much you got in the savings.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's why we need to talk about that stuff.
This is why you got to talk to and let's face it, the more moving parts, the more confused it is. When you get more people involved, it's going to be, whether it's a business, if there's partners, that changes the wrinkles on, everything. Same with family stuff. When there's kids involved, then guess what? Now the parameters change here a little bit, or, depending on the amount of assets involved, the parameters change here a little bit.
So you got to look at it. Yeah. So I had a husband come in and we're talking. I said, okay, you have to list all of your assets. So, and that means community assets because you're married. So we're going through all this stuff and talking. And they got a house and some equity, not a whole lot. But each homeowner can protect up to $150,000 with equity. So that's really generous.
Absolutely.
But they didn't have anywhere near that. And then...
does those numbers vary state to state?
Yes.
Okay, because obviously cost of living's got to come into play there a little bit, because 150 in New Mexico is going to get you a lot farther than 150 in, say, D.C. area. Or New York City.
Well, so in Texas, if you're in a rural setting, it's based on acreage.
Okay. So not value per se, but the land size.
Yeah. So if you're like a married couple, you can get up to 200 acres, something like that, something strange. In an urban setting, it's the value of the lot.
Okay.
Not the improvements.
Okay.
So
basically, if everything went away tomorrow, what is the value of this piece of land or whatever?
Yeah. So it's very, very different. And and Texas was founded by a bunch of debtors. I don't know how they came up with that stuff. But
well, imagine Australia. It's full of criminals there too. Theirs all screwed up.
So then the gentleman discloses, and my wife and her siblings own some land in Texas. And it's like, okay, so like, are we talking, 5 acres or 20 acres? And it says, oh, no, it's like downtown Dallas. It's like, holy cats, big money. So I said, well, let me think about this. Let me think. So it's, what if she doesn't file the bankruptcy? So if he files only, he's got to list everything he has an interest in.
Can that be done in a marriage? Can a spouse or one file and not file? Is that?
Yes.
I always kind of thought you had to do it together because you're tied at the hip with all your finance.
So. It's an asset question, but not necessarily.
Okay.
So get some more info. And if he files only, he must list every asset he owns.
Okay.
So that's going to mean community property.
And personal.
And any other his sole and separate property.
Mm-hmm.
He has to list all that. But because wife's land was inherited and it's her sole and separate property, he has no legal interest in it, so he doesn't list it in the bankruptcy.
Interesting. Okay.
Because he has no legal interest in it.
Now, does that apply in community property states?
That applies to New Mexico, yes.
Okay, because I was kind of interested, because that was the part I was, because technically, Does he have individual property, or does it fall under community property because it's a community property state?
He lists all community property, and the equity in the house was under $150,000.
Sure.
So his list of protected assets protected all the community property.
Gotcha.
And that's when you can say one spouse files. It's when their list of protected assets protects everything the community owns.
Gotcha.
So that's when one spouse files. So the cool thing about that is it not only protects the community property you have now, but it protects future acquired community property.
Okay, so blankets that in.
Yeah, go figure. But it protects after acquired community property. So 5 years from now, you buy a different vehicle, but you still get the exemption.
Sure. Well, at the end of the day, that's the American dream. You're supposed to get bigger and better as life goes on, and so that it falls with that.
But the wife never filed bankruptcy. Is she still liable on the bills?
Well, technically, no. I would think
she is.
Is she, because of the community property side?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking, but if she's
signed,
but if he goes,
she signed the car loan. She signed the credit card.
So if he backs out if he goes defunct on his bankruptcy, they can go after her to try to recoup.
Even if he successfully completes his bankruptcy, she never filed. Technically, she's still liable in all those bills.
Gotcha, because she doesn't have the protections that
She
come
didn't
under the
file.
bankruptcy. There is a reason why you file, because there's protections that allow the creditors not access certain things and all that.
The assets.
She doesn't. The assets. Because she didn't file, she's not under those protections. They can go after her.
They can. Yes, they can sue her. They can get a judgment against her.
Yeah.
But they cannot collect against community assets.
Only her individual stuff.
If they know she has any.
If it's not, if they find it, and if it's known not under the community property under the bankruptcy.
But even her paycheck's community property.
Yeah, because you pay taxes, and that's part of the big, absolutely.
So if a creditor sues and they can't collect against community property, can't garnish wages, can't collect against any assets.
So even if she's got side hustles they don't know about, they would count if they know about them, but
they don't know. It's a side hustle. so 99% of the time, the creditor never goes after the non-filing spouse because what's the use?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just saw the time. We probably need to wrap this up here real quick. But again, I will tell you this while Matt's going to do his kind of his factoids here. Do want to remind folks that anything we're talking about here, if this or business law, anything else, Matt Bristol office can definitely help you navigate through some of those things. If you check out his website, bristolllawoffice.net, bristollaw.net. Is it technically, or is it bristoloffice.net? Now I'm brain farted.
Bristolllawoffice.net.
Yeah, I just brain farted. I come out as a Bristol Law Office or bristolllaw.net. But anyway, bristolllawoffice.net. And you can go there and, read all about Matt and his services and stuff, but schedule a consultation to sit down and talk. And that's the thing. First things first is we'll talk about your case. What's going on? What you got going on? First thing that may happen is after that, Matt says, you don't need a lawyer. You need to go down to the clerk's office, fill this out, and good. Or he may say, thank you for coming. We need to get to work. You got a whole lot of lawyer work we got to do.
Yep, just depends. Sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. But bristolllawoffice.net is the best way to get a hold of Matt and set an appointment and get services going.
Call me at 625-5284 and set up an appointment.
Excellent. All right.
So Kim Commando is on this channel, radio channel.
Yes, she is.
And so I was listening to Kim Commando one day, and this is just a funny story. So she apparently lives in Phoenix because she was talking about hiking Camelback Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it on a regular basis. And apparently a lot of tourists try to hike it who are totally unprepared. And about halfway up or a third of the way up, there's this Bob guy. And he's an old fart, and he's got this big ice chest.
So he's just bailing tourists out.
Bailing tourists out. He's got water. He's got some first aid stuff and blister, meds, that kind of stuff. And so one day she's hiking up Camelback, and there's Bob, and there's this small group of people off to the side. And she goes, hey, Bob, how's it going? He goes, oh my God, take a look. And they're wearing sandals and cowboy boots.
Completely not prepared to hike.
Completely not prepared. Flannel
in the desert
shirt.
mountains, yeah.
And he says, I ran out of water. Do you have any extra water? And she goes, yeah, I do. So she takes the water over this small group of people and idiots. And, thank you very much. Oh, we really appreciate it. And so one of the guys says to her, well, what are you doing later tonight? And she says, I beg your pardon. I'm happily married. He goes, no. We're playing some music tonight, and we can leave some tickets at the door if you want to come. And she goes, well, how nice. What kind of music do you play? He says, oh, we're the Talking Heads.
Oh, I was about to say, here we go. They're famous.
Pretty funny.
Talking Heads, good at music, bad at wilderness survival.
Yeah. Don't follow them into the woods.
That's right. Go to their concert and not go camping with them.
Don't let them drop you in the river.
That's right. Here in my car. That is your problem. You need to do in your tent. You need to start this. But anyway, that's pretty good. Thank you as always, Matt.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it. And BristolLawOffice.net is
.net.
a place to check out.
And thank you all you veterans out there.
Absolutely. And thank you, Matt, for all you do in our community as well.
Absolutely.
Too, so. All right, 8 o'clock, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico, News and Progress.
Are you ready to succeed? The School of Arts and Sciences at ENMU Roswell covers a broad curriculum. The certificates and degrees offered within these programs will prepare students to realize personal, professional, and occupational objectives, from ag science and agricultural technology to behavioral science, biology, bookkeeping and accounting, business administration, criminal justice, education, and mathematics. ENMU Roswell can set you up for success. Register now on campus or online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Success starts here. Big news, Southeastern New Mexico. Southwest Bearing is back and better than ever. Under new ownership, Southwest Bearing is your trusted source for heavy equipment needs, offering custom hydraulic hoses, air hoses, diamond roller chain, bearings, belts, seals, sprockets, tools, fluids, fittings, and more. Our expert team delivers top quality products and exceptional service to keep your machinery running smoothly. Visit us at 809 East McGaffey in Roswell or call 575-623-2300. Southwest Bearing, custom solutions, local service.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It's closing in on 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of it. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. Have a great day, everybody.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans are ready to deliver on President-elect Donald Trump's mandate, ensuring they're more prepared for a second term